Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to conviction of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
This country can't be knocked out with one punch. We get right back up again, and when we do, the world's going to hear the roar of our engines.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
You do your work, and we will do our bit.
Republic. I like the sound of it. It means people can live free, talk free, go or come by or sell, be drunk or sober, however they choose.
Are you ready to be who you are?
No poetry, just a straight answer.
The government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
We are men of the hope. Many now at your expense.
But there's no both sides anymore. They're just trying to wreck our goddamn country. It's time for you younger guys to take over.
You meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
If you guys don't start thinking as men, we're gonna have a lousy country.
For the crimes of incitement to cause unrest, I declare to be an outlaw.
All right, everybody, it's the Outlaw Radio Network for the 11th of February, 2024. Thanks for checking out the show. And congratulations to the San Francisco 49ers for choking another one away.
That was a good game, though.
It was a good game. I'm just glad that they lost. I'm
Oh,
sorry to my pastor, and I have several friends that are Niner fans because clearly I'm an equal opportunity offender, and I'll be friends with anybody.
Oh, at the half, I was sure it was going to go to San Francisco.
Man, I thought so too. We're not about the show.
I don't know how Tom thought that, considering Kansas City has played in the last two Super Bowls they've won. They've been down by 10 points at the half.
I just, the way the momentum of the game was going, the way they had Patrick Mahomes just sitting there doing nothing. I was
running for his life.
Yeah, I was pretty sure there was going to be a low-scoring defensive slug out, and Brock,
which it did turn out to be. Yeah.
But I thought Brock Purdy was going to make a statement. I mean, he did. He played a great game, but just at the half,
you're right.
I thought it was good.
Hey, did Brock Purdy proved?
Propose?
No, Kevin. That? No, Taylor Swift is still available. Tom, I just wanted to point out about that statement that Brock Purdy made. He did. He absolutely said you could be the last pick in the NFL draft and absolutely be mediocre when it counted.
Man, he was last pick in the draft. His rookie,
yes, Mr. Irrelevant.
He
made himself relevant.
His ship to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean,
absolutely,
that was a cool game.
He beat our Hawks twice, man. I give him all the credit in the world to get right up there close to the big one, and John Holmes it. So it is what it is,
His first season, he
suck it up.
Better than lots of rookie quarterbacks their first season.
Who's rookie?
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy's rookie there was last year.
Was that last year?
Yeah, because remember he was in the playoffs and he injured his elbow. And they had to go to their ninth string quarterback in the playoff game against the Eagles.
Oh, my brain's mush. Yeah. Okay.
Listen, I'm just going to say
Tom.
this.
He's still a young quarterback.
You know who's really happy right now?
Taylor Swift?
No, besides Chief fans. Do you know who else is really happy?
No idea.
That girl was leaving a trail like a slug.
Cowboy fans. Because they are not the only supposed NFC superpower that still has to watch their last Super Bowl victory on a VHS tape. The Cowboy fans are happy today that they're not alone in the lack of relevance for 30 years.
How?
Anyway,
Never ends.
Spoken from a true Mariner fan.
that's right. We're not talking.
I don't know where, Kevin, where do you get off saying that stuff? And then I remembered I worked in your bathroom. I get it.
What are you talking about?
It's okay, brother. It's
we're not
okay.
gonna talk
It's
football
okay.
for the next 3 hours. At some point
Thank
in the
you.
third
No, sir.
hour, we will tally up the results of the Outlaw Radio Network football picks.
We don't have to do that tonight. We don't have to do that tonight. I think Lori won.
Loser, Paul.
I think Lori won.
I'll find out in a minute. I will. I'll do the.
I thought Trojo was ahead.
Well, here's the problem, and I don't. Let me look really quick. But here's the problem. Trojo was ahead. 'Tis true.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
But
he quit picking.
But shortly,
Trojo didn't pick Super Bowl picks.
What?
I sent him 2 messages. I sent him one, and then I sent him another one. And he didn't. The last I looked. So let me look again really quick.
Which, by the way, thank you, Kevin, for those of us who have forgotten, and you respond back to us, and you're like, "Hey."
He did pick, by the way. He did pick.
Oh,
so
he did pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll play with the numbers in a minute, or throughout the show. In the third hour, we'll give you totals. I do want to remind all of you watching and listening at home, be sure to share the show. Lori, would you close that door? Yeah, thank you. Lori, will you remember this? I'm going to give a special bonus. If they share the show tonight, because it's Super Bowl night, they get double entry.
What? Okay.
Double entry, because it's a Super Bowl. A lot of people are drunk.
Agree.
A lot of people are with other people. They're probably not going to listen to the show right away.
Mm-hmm.
But if you share the Super Bowl, show, we'll give you double entries into the drawing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I really support that because Jane needs to share the show.
Yeah,
John
share the
needs
show,
to-
Jane.
So does John, because right now it's a flat out
Two horse race.
Yeah, two
Jane's
horses.
busy.
What was that?
I don't
That's
know.
pretty awesome.
That was,
Did Max Headroom?
the UFOs,
Stay
the
on.
aliens are coming.
Was that Max Headroom? I think it was.
I think it was.
all
But
right.
anyways, Kevin and Corey are winning the
Oh,
foot race right now.
Jane's a busy lady.
I know.
She just got a promotion.
I know. I saw that. Congratulations,
God
Jane.
bless her for being so open about where she works on her Facebook page, because she shares the crap out of that on her Facebook page.
Yep.
She ain't worried because she got guns there.
Mm-hmm.
So any weirdos show up like a Joel Osteen church, and she'll be able to defend herself.
Yep. She
Uh,
will.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we won't talk about what happened at Joe Osteen's church much, but I'm sure at some point we'll talk about it tonight. But not for long.
Yeah, well,
because,
yeah. Well, what happened to Joel Osteen's church clearly proved God exists, doesn't it?
listen,
Wow.
why
Just
you would walk
saying.
into a church in Texas with a long gun
Yeah.
and start shooting at people
Yeah.
while holding a 5-year-old?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, she was
Okay.
holding. She was holding a baby, like
I-
a 5-year-old.
I
Yeah.
haven't heard about any
Yeah.
of this.
And I know 5-year-olds aren't babies. Shut up.
But still,
but
they're
yeah,
little. They're
Hold
little
a 5-year-old
kids,
in one hand and a long rifle in the other, and you walk into a church in Texas.
Yeah.
Now,
Not smart.
if you walked into a church in Seattle or maybe LA or some other really liberal city, okay, maybe they're not armed. But in Texas,
Yeah.
the janitor's armed.
They're
Yeah,
carrying
I mean,
two.
Clearly, she wasn't from Texas because you wouldn't bring a long rifle and a child. You need a handgun for that.
This is probably
Too soon?
No, I
Did-
think it's. How are you going to properly aim a long rifle if you're holding a toddler in the other?
Okay.
hand?
All joking aside. Now, did the child survive?
The child
Critical.
is in critical condition.
That is sad.
It's nuts, dude.
That is sad.
There has to be mental illness. There just has to be.
And I'm
Be
imagining
them black or red or white, they will all join in the fight.
Oh,
Napalm sticks to the children of it. What?
and I can imagine
horrible.
imagine being the responding person to this event who was responsible for shooting this child while
Well-
taking down the person.
So here's what it was. It wasn't even a responding person. It was people that were already at the church. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like they had called the
Texas.
cops. And the
No,
cops
what I
showed
mean
up.
is you're the person on site and you respond to the
Yeah.
situation,
yeah.
and now you got to live with this.
Yeah, and listen,
That's rough.
that the Christian church is under some level of assault in this country by the far left wackadoodle whack-a-moles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm not saying this woman was a far left wackadoodle whack-a-mole. We don't know. We don't have any information about it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But, we had the guy that walked into the Emmanuel Apostolic Church, and they're going to say, well, he was obviously a far right Republican because he hated black people. Well, that's not necessarily true.
No, that kid suffered from mental health issues for sure. Most people do, Kevin, and you're right about that, man. If you're going to pull out a gun and start shooting innocent people, can we just all agree there is something not right in the head there? Like, because no normal person is going to do that. Just, none. And to Phil's point, I completely understand where Phil is coming from. And I will say this, prefaces like this. I don't know if Phil owns guns or not. I couldn't tell you if Phil is a Second Amendment supporter. I know what I think, but none of that matters. I mean, Phil's never been outspoken about his opinions on that stuff. I will say this, though. I think because of the truth in what Phil said, because people do have to deal with those emotions and those feelings. But I will add that most people that are comfortable enough carrying a gun and then even more comfortable to draw that weapon knowing that they're about to use it, those are people that feel comfortable enough to do that for a reason. Mm-hmm. Either they've had proper training or they've had an incident in their life, like my dear wife, where they say, I'll never be a victim again. I mean, there's different reasons why people do that, but people who I don't carry, I would feel comfortable doing it. I've just never felt the need to. By the way, my wife, for example, different story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife just because your wife is subjected to eating your cooking every night does not necessarily make her a victim. Let's just be clear about that.
Wow.
No, but Paul, listen, you've got a really valid point. That the people that are tasked in those situations, they've got stuff in their well-being, in their history, in their life history.
Yeah, in their history is a good way to put it. Yeah.
That predisposes them to be able to act decisively when needed with a firearm. Mm-hmm. And that's who we demonize in this country. And I will just ask you, what had happened if there weren't armed people at the Lakewood Church for Joel Osteen? What would have happened?
Yeah.
How many
exactly.
people would have been shot because of her? Wasn't it somebody with a gun that apprehended the dude at the Emmanuel Apostolic Church in South Carolina when they walked in and killed those African-American parishioners? Wasn't there someone with a gun outside that was able to?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's another
good
church
question.
called Emmanuel Apostolic.
Wasn't that the church in South Carolina that?
Emmanuel
South
Apostolic.
Carolina. Yeah, it was an AME church. It was primarily African-American church, if I recall.
Oh,
and the kid just
wow.
Oh. Feels good. That's a little close to home.
I really believed it was Emmanuel Apostolic, but it was Emmanuel African Methodist. Excuse me.
Okay.
I was close.
I was like, "Ooh, that's a
Emmanuel African Methodist is what it was called." Anyway,
So, quick question about today's shooting: was the 5-year-old hers? Because she's deceased.
We are assuming so.
Okay.
We are assuming so.
Okay.
There's not a lot of information that's been released about this yet for two reasons. One, it's relatively recent,
Right.
and two, let's be honest. All eyes were on the Super Bowl, and I'm not being a smartass when I say this.
Yeah.
But the Super Bowl drives most of the coverage today. That's where the reporters are at. That if you go to CNN right now, that's going to be the lead story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not talking about ESPN. That it should be ESPN's lead story, but it'll be CNN's lead story and MSNBC's lead story, especially because of the Taylor Swift connection and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And anything newsworthy of note will be pushed down the header because, God forbid, they report in the news. Let's talk about how the 49ers choked it away again, which they did. Sorry. Anyway,
that poor kid is going to need oodles of therapy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. At least the child is young enough so that you would hope the child won't remember too much in the future. Can I point out that this is one of those stories, because I think we can all agree, almost every single time you have a good guy with a gun stop a bad guy with a gun, you almost hear nothing about it. This is too high profile, right? And in fact, there was one just, I think last week, I posted in our chat, and we didn't end up talking about it, but I was like, look, finally, a story where a good guy with a gun stopped a bad guy with a gun. And I say that because I think that that is an argument we consistently hear from the left anti-gun tropes, right? Where's all the good guys with the gun? Every time there's a shooting, where was the good guy with the gun? I'm pretty sure they're the ones that ran in and stopped it, but hey, who's counting? Because like they don't want to count a cop, right? Well, I'm pretty sure a cop is generally speaking a good guy with a gun. Not always, folks. Not always. But
that's true.
Generally speaking, I don't want to point out that that state patrol officer in California that was actually a mass killer. So,
yeah,
who's counting?
Well, and listen, it is the I hate that question. Well, where was the good guy with the gun? Well, you kind of neutered people from their gun rights in this country, unless you're in Texas.
Yes. How come the good guy with the gun didn't run into the school grounds? That's an anti-gun zone. Right? Yeah.
And listen, and you've made it in such a way that the good guy with a gun can't be a good guy with a gun because there's so many laws out there that they can't be a good guy and have a gun. And then
that's it right
and
there.
Look, and if you look at Uvalde, remember we talked about Uvalde a lot when it happened, that school shooting in Uvalde. There were so many cops afraid to do anything in Uvalde. Now, some of that was because of failure of leadership. But we've really neutered our cops. If you look at the footage of those two police officers in New York City that got jumped by the illegal immigrants and had the snot kicked out of them.
Yeah.
If that would have happened 5 years ago, those cops would have drawn their weapons. And we have deballed our police officers so badly. We have neutered their ability to do their job, and not only to defend other people but defend themselves, that they didn't draw their weapons. And I really want people to consider that. Your mic's on, Phil. Phil, your mic's on. We've made cops now that they're afraid to draw a weapon and defend themselves. That's crazy to me.
But true.
I mean, that's
crazy, yes, but true.
To me, man. That it doesn't make any sense to me. And I anybody who wants to be a cop, more power to you. God bless you. I wouldn't do it.
What do you think the solution is to that?
You have to return law and order, but you need independent oversight of the police departments. I mean, you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, how do we return law and order though? I mean, we're so far gone. We argue with ourselves about every little step. How do we return law and order?
You have to take away some of the laws that they pass. I mean, just speaking in Washington State specifically, you can't pursue somebody. There has to be bail reform, and I don't mean bail reform to make bail easier. I mean bail reform to make it appropriate. Though the one guy that they arrested in New York, that was one of the group of illegals that beat the crap out of those cops, was released on zero bond, and when they released him out, he walked out giving two middle fingers.
Oh yeah.
So that tells you that listen, I'm not making a general statement about illegal immigrants. I'm not, but that tells you the kind of class act we're dealing with here. Beat the snot out of a cop, got released out of jail, and has enough disrespect for everything in the system. He gives the finger. If I'm the judge, I'm reminding him back in that this is how you're going to be on your way out of my courthouse. You're going back into jail with they never should have given him bond. That their intent was to kill those cops.
What about here in what about here in Washington? Right? We've got 6 initiatives that gathered more than enough signatures, and the state legislature is doing what with them? Even though the Constitution of the state is clear what they're supposed to do with it.
Well, they'll eventually make the ballot. I mean,
November, if they do nothing with it, it will.
Yeah. Well, they won't do anything with it.
But the Constitution says it's their foremost duty when the people return something to the legislature.
I would rather it goes to the ballot than the alternative, which are watered down bills that they introduced to replace, because that's the alternative.
Yeah, I totally agree with Lori, actually. I would rather the voters put the initiatives in as they're there instead of Senate and House Democrats in Olympia working it so it's more palatable for them. Hold on. We're going to go to bottom of the hour. Stick around to Outlaw Radio. More topics next. I got breaking news. You guys might get me out of here right on time tonight.
Good, I hope so.
because I've had an upside down day, and I'm just physically and mentally exhausted. So,
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's been a crazy weekend, but I'm ready for bed.
But it was a happy day.
It was well, yes, it
for
was
the
good.
most part.
Yesterday. was
Oh,
really-
happy day.
Oh, happy day. Keep going, Paul.
Nope, don't know the rest of the song.
The version of that in Sister Act 2 was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a big Whoopi fan, but Sister Act 2 is a great movie. It's probably one of my top
Music
5
was
movies. Yeah. Even though it has
One of the few guys I know that's not
is
a
it
fan
Lauren,
of Whoopi.
Lauren Evans, is that her name?
Lauren Hill.
Lauren Hill, thank
Lauren
you.
Hill.
She hates all white people. That's true. She really does.
Does she really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Loathes all white people.
Oh.
And it's a good thing I'm not a white person and a Native American because her and I'll still get along just fine. But the rest of you guys, you're screwed. Congratulations.
Can I just identify as
What else is new?
Welsh American?
Welsh American?
Yeah.
Sure. You're Welsh American. Tom, what are you?
Not
that
Welsh.
I know of, I'm mostly German.
German American. Bro,
Yeah.
you're a Nazi. Perfect. Okay. Lori?
Thanks, pal.
I am.
Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. I need to address Tom appropriately. All right, Tom. Anyway, Lori,
Wow.
go ahead. Lori.
I'm Portuguese and Moroccan.
Oh, African American. Lori's African American because she's from Morocco.
30 seconds.
All right. What's that?
30 seconds.
Okay. We'll come back. We'll get into some actual topics. And
Jeez, Lori's like my wife is. You say Portuguese, Lori?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah,
she's
my wife's
Moroccan.
Portuguese too. How's
African
that?
American
How's that?
president. Haven't you read the census? Hold on. We're coming
Well,
back. I'll tell you.
no. You're right. I was just curious how she deals with the upper lip hair.
All right, Outlaw Radio. Hey, free plug, by the way. Our friends over at Kitsap Great Escape are hiring.
Nice.
If you're looking for a part-time position,
Doing what? Pray tell.
running escape rooms.
Cleaning the
Doing escape
bathrooms
room
of the
things.
escape room.
No, not cleaning the bathrooms because they're part of a building, and the building has their own janitorial staff. Paul, don't put out
Love that.
Totally a
don't
joke,
put out fake
Kevin.
news
Totally
there,
a joke.
Paul Trump.
I predict there'll be lots of other duties as assigned.
There are other duties as assigned, but
Yeah, that one keeps me real busy.
Yeah. But most of it is running escape rooms, greeting customers. Listen, you're not going to make a lot of money off of it. I mean, it's just a little bit above minimum wage, and as it should be. This is not a job that requires you to have a college education.
Don is asking, do you have to be 18?
You have to be 18,
Okay.
yeah, because of the hours and stuff that we work and some of the insurance requirements. So
The government says as a child you're just not able to work those hours.
18 and older, but yeah, I mean, if you're interested, you can hit me up or you can send me your resume or whatever, and I'll be making some phone calls tomorrow to potential applicants to help us.
Oh, are you hiring?
I'm
You're
the
hiring person?
I'm the initial hiring person, so I do some screener questions and just kind of go over important things with them, kind of gauge their personalities, and do they seem comfortable communicating, or do they just reply with a lot of grunts and groans, that kind of
Hey,
thing.
idiot! That's not the button you push. You push the other one right next to it.
Yeah, we'd never hire Paul.
That's true. That's true. It's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although I would like to hire you, Paul, so then I can fire you, so then we'll be even.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, touche.
Touche.
Are you still hold a grudge about that, Kevin?
No, not at all. Can't you tell?
Okay. I was just
Can't you
curious.
tell?
I was just curious.
All right.
I mean, listen, if you'd have shown up for work, it wouldn't have been an issue. I get it, man. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
You hired me knowing that I had a vacation coming up. You were told in advance of the vacation, you moron.
Didn't think it was going to be 3 weeks.
Look at that.
Sorry. Listen, any job that hires me has to understand.
Why do you keep going over this, Kevin? You
My
keep bringing it
vacations
in.
are far
I
more
don't
important than my
understand.
job. I mean that. My vacations are far more important than any job I'll ever have.
Dude, I believe you.
I
You're
do not
so
love
much.
to work. I do not.
You're
love
like
to
a
work.
musician. Like a musician. You give up that $20 an hour job to go play a gig that pays you beer money.
So you work to live.
I work to live, but I do not live to work. I mean, jobs are important. You got to make your money.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I have a good job and I get plenty of annual leave that I can schedule accordingly, which works. But the fact of the matter is, I got to have my vacays. I just have to. I have to recharge. I got too much crap in my life right now.
Mhm.
And in 2 months, in 1 week from now, I'll be in Vegas.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
I thought you said the
suck
Vegas
it.
trip had something going. Like, didn't it cancel? Or
Well, here's the problem with the Vegas trip is I was canceling the Vegas trip. And then everybody else told me you're not allowed to cancel the Vegas trip because we're all still going to Vegas and you're going with us. I thought everybody else was canceling the Vegas trip. So I just threw my hands up and said, well, if nobody wants to go with me, then I'm just not going to go.
Is it around May 1st?
No, it's going to be, before May 1st.
Mm.
April 18th to the 22nd.
Figure I'd give an excuse to take my wife on our, 9th anniversary Vegas.
Well, come down with us.
There you go.
Come down with us. It's going to be a bunch of people from my church.
Something strange about a bunch of people from a church going to Sin City.
Why? See, that's because
I don't
can
know.
tell
It
you've
just
never been.
seems weird to me.
I can tell you've never been to Vegas before because there's so
I
much.
haven't.
more
I
than
freely,
just saying.
I freely, alcohol, gambling, whorehouses. I mean, how
There's no
much?
horse houses in Vegas. Hold on, there are no whorehouses in Vegas.
Not legal.
Okay,
Not,
okay. I believe you.
they're in Pahrump.
Lots of strip clubs. Okay.
There are strip clubs in Vegas all over the place. Yes.
There's also
I've never
Clearly, I had a lot of girls that worked down in Vegas for a couple weeks out of the month, and then back up in Kitsap County for a couple of weeks. I always made better money down there.
That's like performing at the MGM Grand in Vegas and then coming back to perform at the Admiral.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen
Exactly.
the charge of the Admiral?
No, the Admiral's good people. I know people. All right, so
I have to remind the wife
Wait.
not to collect the hooker trading cards.
Speaking of shows, tomorrow
Speaking of
night.
shows, what is
tomorrow night? Whiskey Gulch.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, tomorrow there
What's tomorrow?
is comedy at Whiskey Gulch.
Oh, I so want to go and I can't.
Yeah, Gabriel Rutledge. I believe the doors are at 5. I think the show starts at 5:30. I mean, the doors are open all day. So, yeah, go down, get
Yeah.
yourself a burger and a whiskey, and
Tickets
watch
might
some good
still
comedy.
be available.
Last I heard, yes, there are
Okay.
plenty of tickets
Good
still
to know.
available. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's do this, Paul. I know we were going to talk about the disaster that is Joe Biden, but I think we should move that to segment A of hour 2, so we have enough time.
That is a long topic.
Because that is a long topic, and
It's a
I,
3-hour
well,
topic at this point.
Listen, and to Tom, to your point, it'll be forgotten quickly by Joe.
Yep.
As a fun
Fact.
aside, I see Robert Parker's, saying some good merch there. Looks like maybe I could get a nice out of the waistband holster there. That's a nice one.
I can't use a waistband holster for my sidearm. It's too big.
See, Kevin Nelson. There's churches in Vegas, yep, and most of them involve Elvis and a quick wedding.
Yeah.
No, not
there's
all
what?
of them.
There's what in Vegas?
Churches.
Oh, churches. There's a lot of churches in Vegas.
Yeah.
There's also my favorite church people, and I mean this totally sarcastically. The ones that have the bullhorn and the really big signs telling you that you're all going to hell.
Oh, is that where they're out of? Is Las Vegas?
Well, I don't know if they're out of Las Vegas, but I've seen them in Las Vegas.
Isn't it
is like famous
Westboro?
for 'em.
No.
Oh.
They're just these are just
Oh,
I don't know if they're affiliated with a specific church. When I went to the Skillet concert, remember the Skillet concert I went to a couple months ago?
Yeah.
It was Skillet and Saint somebody and Theory of a Dead Man. And Skillet's a Christian band.
Yeah.
But they had the dudes out there talking about how you're going in there to listen to that devil rock music. But what? And they had the big giant signs in the bullhorn telling us we were all going to hell.
Skillet and Theory of a Dead Man together?
Yes, that's what I thought too.
That's weird.
Because
I thought it was a good show.
Theory of a Dead Man is not a Christian band.
No,
Listen to
nope.
their lyrics, you'll understand.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing.
And Saint Asonia is not either. Saint Asonia is the guitar player from Stained and the lead singer from 3 Days Grace. So they're
Yeah.
not a Christian band either. But
Well, maybe it's
They
a
opened
mission
for-
field for Skillet.
they opened for Skillet, not the other way around. It was pretty cool. So
That's
Rock
awesome.
Revelation. No, the Rock Revival.
yeah, it was a really good show. But anyway,
I've seen Skillet a few times. They always put on a good show.
John says free weddings if your name is Travis or Taylor in Vegas.
Now, I'm told the wedding is quick. You might say it's a swift wedding.
Oh. Ba-dum-bum. All right.
Waka,
I'll be here all night.
Waka, waka, waka.
Try the veal.
Try the veal. Oh no. All right. I'm looking, Paul. I'm trying to scroll back because we did have a local topic we were going to talk about, and I'm trying to.
Yes. Yes. Want me to refresh your
would
memory?
you please?
It's
Yeah,
not-
thank you, bud.
it's not
Yes, sir.
short time
The
again, is it?
the no, this is in regards to the Port Orchard has made national news in the fact that the Port Orchard Police Department has announced that the one of the drug cartels, and I apologize, but the name of the cartel itself escapes me, is very active
new
in Port Orchard.
generation. It's the new generation Jalisco cartel.
Jalisco was the word I was looking for. Thank you very much, Tom. Yes, the Jalisco drug cartel is now operating in Port Orchard. That scared the hell out of me. Having as much as I don't like to admit it, except every single time I get a chance, in owning a strip club, we were approached on multiple occasions by different organized crime groups, and for the most part, once you told them go away, I'm not interested in doing anything with you business wise, and then left you alone. I never had a run-in with the drug cartels, but they still legitimately give me pause. Does that make sense? And I think it's a direct result of us underfunding our police departments. There's 28 police officers in Port Orchard, in the city of Port Orchard Police Department.
23.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Okay.
23.
Okay.
I'm not sure how big the county sheriff force is. Of course, they have a much larger footprint to cover, but I know those overlap.
They do, for sure. Yeah. But, I mean, listen, once you get into the story and you understand why they pick a place like Port Orchard, it makes sense, right? Smaller police departments, wide open urban area, with some of it being very rural, so that they can do what they want to do in the shadows. They can live in a place, quite frankly, like my place, where nobody can see your house. They can do whatever they want there. Small enough police force, if they don't do anything to bring attention to themselves, they can operate with impunity. That should scare the hell out of anybody.
So you're talking about a combination of the Port Orchard Police Force and South Kitsap and the Kitsap County Sheriff. Then,
well, kind of.
I wasn't.
Port Orchard.
I'm just talking about.
Yes, South Kitsap as a whole. Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. According to the police chief of the beautiful city of Port Orchard, Matt Brown, there is no longer a drug task force in Port Orchard or Kitsap County. So
and I don't think WestNet exists anymore either, do they?
No. The drug task force that was investigating this was based out of Tacoma, and they just kind of stumbled into it while they were doing their normal stuff in Pierce County.
Yeah, I think WestNet went away like early 2000s.
It was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
we used to let them use our strip club on sting operations. It got us in good with them, man, and we helped them out. And my first sergeant in the Army was the head of sex crimes division for Kitsap County Sheriff's Office, so it was actually a really good match.
Here's a quote from Tessa Gorman. She's a U.S. attorney for the Western District of Washington, which is based out of Seattle. Here's what she said about the drug cartel. Quote, "They choose places that may not have a large law enforcement presence and places people wouldn't expect cartels to be operating in the beautiful community of Port Orchard on the water. They go on to talk about how it's easier to do that because there's not a lot of police. They can kind of set up shop, do whatever they want to do. They don't have the oversight. The cops don't have the manpower. There's probably more members of the cartel in the community than there are police officers."
Oh, for sure.
Because you've only got 23 Port Orchard police officers.
Yeah, put it in perspective, right, Kevin? 23 police officers. How quickly would it take a drug cartel to match that manpower-wise? Instantly, right? Couple of phone calls.
Yeah, easy. Listen, and it's. Oh God, I'm going to sound like Paul. Please.
Yeah, well, you can't help it when you're right. You're right.
Be prepared to slap me. This is what happens when the left has continued to push the agenda about defunding the police, taking away power from the cops, underfunding the police departments. Congratulations, you've now made it. To me, this is like prohibition, right? Mm-hmm. You've instituted prohibition without proper oversight and law enforcement. You're just feeding the mafia. And that's all that they've done now. Well, we don't want drug cartels. We don't want meth floating around. We don't want fentanyl floating around. But we're not going to properly fund anything. So we've basically given the criminals, in this case the cartels, the ability to have an ample amount of cash and do whatever they want to do. And have unfettered access to our communities.
Yep.
And we can blame the cartels. Certainly we should. But the larger issue is the fact that we've undercut funding to the police departments.
And left our borders wide open.
And left the borders
Yes,
wide
sir.
open. And we treat our cops like crap.
Yes, we do.
I mean, we treat our cops like crap.
Yep.
We'll talk about this some more after the break. Hold on a minute. It's Outlaw Radio.
Network.com.
Outlaw Radio. Yeah, and by the way, as we're on Facebook, I do want to say this really quick. All right. So if you were to go, well, I don't know. Let's pretend that Kitsap County had a newspaper.
What?
I don't know. Let's just pretend that Kitsap County had a newspaper. And that newspaper was owned by the same company that owns USA Today. Because they are.
What?
Would it befuddle you to know that if I go to the USA Today website, that's where the story is about the Port Orchard thing? But if I go to the Kitsap Sun website, there's no mention on their front page at all about this?
Well, there's a paywall first, right?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Like, I'm looking at just headlines. I'm just looking at the headlines. There's not even a headline about this on the Kitsap Sun's website. You know what that tells me?
Someone's not paying attention.
People aren't working on the weekends. I mean, God forbid anything major news happens, like, I don't know, a report about a major drug cartel operator in Kitsap County that would require somebody at the Sun to wake up and go to work for an hour and post something online. Even if it's just repost the feed from the USA Today site that's owned by your parent company.
That's all they do anyways.
But they didn't even do that on this. It's
Right.
not even on the front page of the Sun site. What in the hell are they doing at the Sun?
Relying on us.
Yeah.
My God.
They
Thank
are.
God for Outlaw Radio. Jeez.
Yeah, 15 seconds.
Man.
15
Outlaw Radio.
seconds.
Outlaw Radio. We're back after this.
.com.
Outlaw Radio.
I don't know how many times I can give you the finger, man.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just enthralled with what the Kitsap Sun has on their website. Let's just be honest.
Or it
This is a
doesn't.
Quality report.
What's on their website?
Here's our top headlines. Night to Shine returns its special prom experience to Silverdale. Now, Night to Shine is really important. I believe it's for developmentally disabled adults. It's a prom event for them.
Mhm.
I think it's great. But you live in a community of 250,000 people. I think it's a great feel-good story. It does not belong at the top of your headlines. It is not the most pressing news in the world that they had a nonprofit had a prom. It's a great feel-good story. It can be an above the fold thing on a Sunday morning paper. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But it's not the top story. There's a drug cartel in Port Orchard. But hey, we had a prom.
Here you go. They caught a narcotics pipeline here into Kitsap County. Drug users out of Mexico, meth, heroin.
Where's that at?
I mean, it was from 2016, but I mean, it's
2016.
in the news.
Here's their other top 5 headlines. Democrats ditch bill that would raise annual cap on property tax hikes. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. That was supposed to go up by, according to that bill, 3% a year without voter approval.
Police seeking information on Port Orchard man's disappearance. Bainbridge School Board halts plans to consolidate schools. And One Kitsap, a 5-year strategy to address our economic challenges by columnist Joe Morrison.
Oh, and if you're a subscriber, Narcan becomes widely
That's
more
on there
widely
too. Yeah.
available.
That's on there too. And then, a
As
whole bunch of sports
overdoses
stuff.
continue to climb.
A whole bunch of sports stuff. Listen,
You
the
think
kids,
you think that'd be a self-correcting problem?
if the Kitsap Sun, Paul, answer me this question. If the
Yes.
Kitsap Sun shuttered operations tomorrow, if they just ceased to exist, would anybody
Yes.
notice they were gone?
Oh, well, that's like
I would-
asking if you would prefer to drink a gallon of dirty used hot dog water, or stick your private parts in a jar full of mosquitoes. I mean, that's a rough choice, man.
Next week on Outlaw Radio.
I'll take the hot dog
I don't.
water.
I think if they, if they shut down tomorrow, nobody would know. You would be missing out on the things that you use to start kindling in your fireplace, and you wouldn't have anything to line your bird cages with. But the impact on news in this community would
It's
be
just,
nil.
I read it for the obituaries. Oh my God, Don, that is so funny because it's true.
It would be nil.
And the divorces. Yeah.
I say, yeah. I mean, there's legal notices. It's useful for that.
Yeah.
No, hold on. It's not useful for that.
It is.
The
because-
idea that you have to put legal notices in the newspaper today, that is the most antiquated rule I've ever heard of in my life.
Hey, I had to do it. I know.
No, I know. I know
It's
that you
a
have to.
giant pain in the ass.
I get that. I know that you
Yep.
have to. But the fact that that's still a rule when nobody's buying a newspaper anymore, let alone combing through the classifieds.
Well, it's a monetary barrier to some things
Yes.
because it was not a cheap endeavor to go through all the legal notifications I
Yeah.
had to go through and the amount of time I had to go through it.
The only time I would look through the Kitsap Sun's classifieds is if I was looking for, do you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain?
What about
Otherwise-
garage sales?
Huh?
What about garage sale notifications?
No, you can find those on Facebook. I
I
got
know.
Facebook
Hey,
groups I subscribe to for that.
I know. I'm just trying to give it some relevance.
There's no relevance. The Kitsap Sun is irrelevant.
I'm trying to help it.
And by the way, the Kitsap Sun thinks they'll just put up a paywall. Well, that's not going to work. You know why? Because the newspapers across the water are more than happy to report on what's going on over here for free. All I got to do is look at Como or Cairo or My Northwest. Josh Farley's working for one of the newspapers on the side of the water now. Because you cheap little bastards couldn't afford to pay him and keep a decent reporter out here. And I'm not knocking the other reporters out here. That's not what I'm saying. But Josh Farley was local and local and local and a good guy. But God forbid they paid him what he was worth. And now he's working for a Seattle paper.
They're going to ruin him.
God. If the Sun went out of work tomorrow, nobody'd care. Literally nobody would care. For their fluff pieces and their regurgitation of USA Today stories. Nobody would care. Let's check the chat. Would anybody miss the Sun if they went away tomorrow? I'm going to create that as a poll on our page. If the Kitsap Sun vanished tomorrow, would you care? Would you notice? Would you notice? That's the question. Because I don't think anybody would.
Probably not.
Kevin Nelson said most of their obits come from legacy.com. Craigslist is for his garage sales, Don says. Local sports coverage is about all. Rick's got a good point. Robert said it
But
also.
even then, you can just turn on ESPN Sports.
Or you can tune in to 1400 AM.
Yeah, Kevin Max got a show on Thursday with ESPN, and I mean, honestly, you get better sports coverage. No, I'm not going to say that. They do good with local sports, especially local football. They do really good with local football. Because why? Because they make advertising revenue off of that.
Yep.
Because they know they're the only dog and pony show in town.
I mean, they used to have a lot of coverage, and then what's her name, Annette left, right?
Mhm.
Now she's over in eastern free side of the state with her mom.
Yeah. Rick says he'd save $5 a month. If you're paying $5 a month for your Kitsap Sun subscription, Rick, you're probably spending $4.95 a month too much.
That's nice of you, Kevin. That's
And then even
that's
after
nice.
that, you wanna
Four
get your-
$4.95,
get your
not
nickel back.
$4.99.
$4.90. I think
I mean, I'd like to assume he's being facetious, but you know,
I mean, I'm a $50 a year digital subscription just so I don't deal with the paywall nonsense. But it still sucks because you click on a Facebook shared, and then it won't drop into the app. It's a big old hassle.
Yeah,
their IT people are about jokes.
None of it makes sense. None of it. It's a shame. I think in other communities, the Sun would work better with a paywall. Like if they were in Port Angeles or if they were in
something more remote.
Aberdeen. Yeah. If they were further away from a Seattle station that was covering everything that they charge you to see that they give you for free, I think they would do a lot better. But they are literally a 10-minute crow fly from Seattle.
That's true.
And if anything monumental happens out here, like, I don't know, a dude getting a Trump sign in his yard, they'll be over here in a heartbeat to cover it.
Now, question, should we reach out to our local sheriff's department or Paulsville Police to ask the question about, is there anything we as a community can do to be prepared to deal with this cartel, to both stay safe and proper reporting? Frankly, I have no clue. I mean, yeah, I know when something looks suspicious, but
yeah,
it's
and
out
then,
of the ordinary.
see something, say something. That's the sales pitch.
But how far do you want to go into that? I mean, I think it's a great question, right?
I would just say aim for center mass, 2 shots at least.
Well,
2 to the chest, 1 to the head.
Oh, yeah, double tap too. Okay.
I just
Double
feel
tap
like,
too. Yeah, you bet, brother. You bet.
how much do you want your neighbors getting into your stuff, into your business? You know what I mean? Like like yours is a really fair question, right? Like, what should we be on the lookout for? What should we be paying attention to? And it makes perfect sense until you realize you're basically turning neighbors against neighbors with the hope that they're going to catch something. And my neighbor, who lives just up the hill from me, I pray to God she doesn't listen to the show. She's awful. She'll see all the cars at my house because I have my son's coming over.
You're talking about the ladies directly to the like up your hill, like the next house up, the one who had her septic roll down through your yard.
Yeah, her.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
The whole story.
That is a crappy situation.
What are you going to ask them? Watch for a lot of traffic. We have a lot of traffic at my house all the time because of all the medical people that come to take care of mom and my kids and my friends and my kids' friends. And I don't know how far you want to put people into policing their neighbors.
I mean, frankly,
Mm-hmm.
know your neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, where we're going to be building, where mom's at, we know the neighbors on both sides, across the street, 2 doors up. Should get to know the people behind us. It's know your neighbors. You don't have to be nosy, but
you just have to get to know them.
and we know that one neighbor that's all hours of the night. There's clunker cars coming and going, never the same cars. Yeah, we're kind of keeping
Hey,
on.
now, don't be talking about my house like that.
You know who I think should be mandated to report? The power companies. Because if you're using an inordinate amount of power for the size of your residence,
They already think I'm using an inordinate amount of power at the house.
But I'm serious though, right? I mean, if you're using a huge amount of power for the size of the property that you have,
That's kind of old school, though.
It is old school.
That's from pot grows,
Yeah.
and pot's legal now. No, there's no.
they don't have to use a lot of power to manufacture meth or fentanyl or any of that kind of stuff.
No, you can do that in the middle of the woods with a
propane.
candlelight.
Screw it, we're screwed then.
Yeah.
We're hosts. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
totally we're hosts.
that's 100% chemistry.
Hey, Paul, if I send you a meme, can
Yes.
you can you see it while we're doing the show, or do you have to wait?
No,
I
you
think
can.
you have
I've got
to
my
mention it.
laptop. Well, so I changed up some of the things. Like I said, I can't, for whatever reason, the software here, if I'm on my phone, which is what I'm using to broadcast and listening to and everything else, I can't go check anything. I can't tap on anything. However, I've set up a computer next to my stuff. So, and so you sent me the meme that says Taylor Swift after Travis Kelce wins the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Is she throwing up on that bed, or some reason she's laying over there doggy style? She's like going to hurl or something? I don't get it.
Paul, stop it. This is an inside joke between me and you. It wasn't designed to go out to AM. They can't see it. Just play
Dude,
along.
nobody needs to know what you and I do in our free time, Kevin, okay?
Yeah. All right. So listen. We're gonna go to the top of the hour break. We come back. We're gonna get
Yes,
into
sir.
the really big. We're gonna get into the really big story from last week, and that was the Department of Justice's report in regards to Joe Biden, his mental capacities, the
What mental capacities?
well, or lack thereof.
Oh, okay.
The top secret classified documents that he had in his garage, his response to it. How does that apply to Trump, or doesn't? There's a whole bunch of different angles. So we're going to spend the entire next half hour after we come out of top of the hour break, completely ripping into this entire story. We'll open with the facts as we know them, and then we'll just let our conspiracy theories abound. Because conspiracy theory is the only explanation I have why it's gone the way that it's gone. Because I can't come up with another explanation or justification. So we'll talk about that all when we come back after the top of the hour news. A reminder, if you have not shared the show, please do so. We'll give you double share points for sharing tonight as we do our drawing the first Sunday of March. And we're going to give away more Outlaw swag. Have we heard from Kevin Nelson? Has he received his swag yet?
No, he has not.
They are slow.
We can talk about it offline.
Oh, is there something I need to know?
Yeah.
Oh,
because I used our Outlaw account.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So we're going to. There's secrets abound. There's things that you peons are not allowed to know about what happens behind the scenes.
Don't look behind that curtain.
We're back after this. Outlaw Radio.
Yes, Kevin Nelson, it's coming. We
It's
had
on
an issue.
It's on its way. We had a minor issue.
We haven't used our business debit card in so long it got denied.
That's hilarious. You can tell we're a multi-billion-dollar operation. We don't even use our debit card.
Billions.
And billions.
Yeah.
All right. Good God, how embarrassing is that? You think Brandy Cruz has that issue with her
No.
bank account? Nope.
No.
But us,
We have the money in there.
we cut a $30 payment out of our debit card, and the bank is like, "Whoa, slow down! Don't spend that money so fast." My God.
Good Lord.
Jeez Louise. Settle down. PayPal. All right. Good God. All right. So yeah, coming up in just a couple of minutes, we're gonna check on the Biden situation. Let's take a look at some of the comments. Robert says Biden's mental and physical health issues are being rolled out right on schedule, just in time for Michelle to swing in.
Yep.
First of all,
Not Michelle, but Michelle.
I don't
Yeah.
like name calling her. I really don't. Robert, I know you hate her, and that's fine. But first of all, she's not a candidate. She hasn't announced as one. She's just still the spouse of a former president. Until she formally announces something, we should really lay off. We really should. And if she does, we have more things to rip her about than just her name or her appearance, which is what you're picking on. You're better than that. I mean that. I don't.
How was he picking on her appearance? Because he said moo, he was picking on her appearance. Is that trying to say she's suggesting she's a cow? Or is he just cracking a joke where he's cracking a joke literally about her name, having a play on words with her name?
All right. I will bet with any of you, Nancy just rolled in and said that Michael, because, there's a lot of transgendered comments made about her too. I just think you guys are better than that. I really do. Like, I can understand not liking her, but can you talk about what you don't like about her? Besides the fact that you believe that maybe she was a man in a past life, or maybe you believe she's unattractive or a cow. Like, can you specifically say, here's what I don't like about Michelle Obama?
Yes.
Instead of insulting her appearance?
She made some very racist, anti-American comments.
Okay,
That's
and
exactly what I don't like about her.
If that's why you don't like her, I totally support
That
your
is, yes.
decision to have that opinion. You know
That's
what I mean?
exactly why I don't like her. It was one comment in general where she said, and I quote, "I am finally proud of my country." And what she left off of that statement was, because they elected my husband a black man. But that's what she said.
Mhm.
And I felt that was an incredibly judgmental and racist statement, considering the country had literally just voted for an African-American man as president.
Yeah.
It-
Robert said the same
that's
thing. Robert said the same thing.
that's
He made
like-
comments about not liking America, and that's fine.
Yes.
I don't like the name calling. I don't like the. Maybe I'm getting weak in my old age and just
Let me.
just
Can I?
snowflake, but
Can I
just-
flip
don't
this
like the name
around?
calling.
Can I flip this around? This is like me saying to you, you know, Kevin, I never in a million years thought you'd actually, you know, bag yourself another chica. Never thought it would happen, man. But you know what? Good for you, considering I never thought it would happen. Like, it's saying crap like that is essentially what she kept saying about this country. By the way, I am super happy for you, so I don't really mean that. But that's the kind of underhanded slap in the face that she was consistently rolling out there. And I don't, you know what? And good for her on the flip side. She was scandal free while she was in the White House, and good for her, because that's super hard to do for anybody in the White House, because everything you do is, you know, under a microscope. But I have a hard time getting past this, the things that she said that were along those lines. I really didn't like it, man. I really didn't like it. And she hasn't stopped saying those kinds of things since she got out of the White House. So I don't know. I think she shows the kind of colors that we would not put up with from a white person.
I have some questions that don't have anything to do with any of that stuff. It's just simple mechanics stuff.
Let's talk about this later in this hour. Okay,
Okay.
we're going to get into the Biden stuff next, but I think that'll segue into who takes Biden's place.
10 seconds.
If that goes down. So hold on, Outlaw Radio, top of the hour next. Joe Biden and his lack of cognitive abilities after this.
What?
What?
Say it ain't so, Joe.
And my hand takes hold of judgment. I will take vengeance upon mine enemies, and I will repay those who hate me. O Lord, raise me to thy right hand and count me among thy saints.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
We must all fear evil men. But there is another kind of evil which we must fear most, and that is the indifference of good men.
Outlaw Radio Network, this hour of the show tonight brought to you by Black Ring Spirits. A reminder, are you a 49er fan? You certainly need some Black Ring Spirits. Did you almost win the Super Bowl? Oh, you almost did, but you didn't. You were this close. You were this close. Oh, didn't you put it away?
Now, let's be fair, Kevin. You know what you call losing the Super Bowl? Going to the Super Bowl.
That's right.
You know
Want a title? Psych. Anyway.
You know what the Seahawks didn't do this year? Go to the Super Bowl.
That's true. That's true, but we've won one since the 90s. Unlike the Niners.
And now let's figure out how to razz the Cowboys, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Cowboys haven't won one since the 90s either. And they haven't even been to one. The only way Tony Romo was going to get back to the Super Bowl is if he went there as an announcer, as he did. He wasn't going to do it while wearing the helmet. All right, so, Paul, where do you think we should start in this conversation about Joe Biden and his Werther's Original lifestyle?
Well, listen. So the special prosecutor, well, okay, let me take a step back. Joe Biden, in his infinite wisdom, while vice president, says that he had his staff, by the way, I actually believe this, that he had his staff, while they were leaving the White House, box stuff up and send it where it needed to go, and some of those boxes came to his house. As a result of that, after Donald Trump was busted for using presidential privilege and taking some documents home. At that point, Joe Biden found that he had some boxes of stuff. So he let the archives know. And the interesting thing to me was they opened a special investigation on all this, okay? And the special prosecutor's name was, I believe it was her, H-U-R or H-U-N or something like that.
Her H-U-R.
H-U-R, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So the special prosecutor released his report, and in his report, it was very Jim Comey-ish, right? In the sense that he says to everybody, he says, "Hey, here's the thing. Did he break the law? Yeah, he kind of did. But guess what? You know, the intent wasn't there because suddenly, when you're high up in politics, intent matters when you violate federal law. And the problem with it is we'd prosecute him, but he's just not mentally there enough that I think we'd get a conviction." Let's discuss all of the problems with that particular phraseology, okay?
Well, that jurors would see him as a well-meaning, kind old man with a memory problem.
Yeah.
I think that was the quote or something like that.
Yeah. And can I just be the one to point out, when Joe Biden took those documents, he wasn't president, right?
Yep.
He was vice president, meaning he had no privilege. He didn't have the ability to declassify anything or anything else. He took them. Now, the last time I checked, when you are the leader of something and you take something, or you order your people to do it for you, like since when does the law of the United States of America, by the way, right? What did John Adams say? We're a country of laws, not men. Meaning what? It isn't about the person. It's about the law, right? It's not about who you are when we prosecute you. It is about what you did, plain and simple. Yet we are seeing that clearly is not the case, is it? Unless your name is Donald Trump. If your name is Donald Trump, it is about the law that you broke. I think we can probably, all reasonable, rational people, not necessarily people that support Trump, but reasonable, rational people can see that that is the case with regards to Donald Trump. It should, on a 10.0 San Andreas Fault horrible Rocky Johnson movie, really be effed up that everybody's sitting around now defending the President of the United States when literally his own Department of Justice released a report that said, yes, sorry, he's not altogether there enough to stand trial, so we're not going to prosecute him. Like, everybody should have done their own cartoon character, like, right? Like, what? You're telling me that the President of the United States is not all there enough to defend himself? And I thought Dana Perino on The Five made a perfect observation when she pointed out everything. He did the right thing, right? He called this little gaggle, if you will, together, brought the reporters together, came out and issued a statement. But unfortunately for Joe Biden, that forgetfulness clearly set in, and his desire to hear himself talk did not prevent him from committing the cardinal sin. He heard somebody ask a question, turned, and in his mind, he was like, I need to answer that. And in doing so, that's where he lost it. It was all downhill from there, because that short little impromptu press conference that he had really kind of brought it all out to the forefront. Because anybody who has kids knows that what Joe Biden did when he was asked by Peter Doocy about the situation with the documents, his response to Peter Doocy was, because Peter asked him about the quote, and he said, I'm a well-meaning old man. He's like, yes, I am. And clearly my memory's just fine. I'm paraphrasing here, folks. But then he followed it up with, because I forgot about you and called on you. Right? So you're watching this unfold. I was anyway. And, my jaw was on the ground. I couldn't believe it, but this does answer a lot of questions, doesn't it? And Dr. I forget what doctor it is. There's one of the doctors that's practicing, and he also does news pieces. He said, look, here's what everybody should be concerned about, okay? in elder medicine or aging medicine or the medicine of aging, whatever label you want to put on it, one thing is very clear. Short-term memory goes first.
Mm-hmm.
That's what goes first. Long-term memory goes second. It answers a lot of questions, doesn't it? Joe Biden hasn't been had. We all know Joe Biden has had gas. Like, this is a big effing moment, Barack, right? Things like that. Like, where he says things that are that just seem, yes, geriatric medicine. Thank you, Don. I'm old. I forgot it. My bad. Don't kick me out of office for it. So the thing is that his short-term memory went some time ago. And clearly the staff of the White House is covering for him. His wife is covering for him. That's the worst kind of thing. It's one thing to desire power because you're in politics for your life. But in his case, he's wanting to keep power, and the people around him are creating the circumstances allowing that to happen.
Well, and here's a question for
Yes,
you,
Nancy.
Paul.
Yes, hold on. Yes, Nancy. Biden's comment about letting Ducey ask a question. Yeah, you're right. I mean, at that moment, your eyeballs bug out of your eyes and your jaw drops because you're like, dude just cracked a joke about his own lack of memory. Like, oh, unbelievable. Go ahead, Kevin. Sorry.
Well, here's a question: Is this like the end of Reagan's second term, where Nancy was really kind of steering the ship? I mean, is that where we're at?
That's a great question. I listen. Reagan was in his second term when he began suffering from Alzheimer's, and so your comment is, I believe, correct, right? I don't know to what degree Nancy covered for Ronald. Honestly, I was too young and out of it, not paying attention to politics during that time period, because that would have been, 88, 90, right in that frame, right? But I do believe that there are a lot of similarities here. I believe, like I said, anybody with kids knows that what Biden did, because he brought up the comment about not remembering his son's death, that's doubling down. Because what he did was he got angry about it in front of everybody and was like, when he asked me that question about when my son died, I was like, how dare you? How dare you ask a question about my son's death? Well, sir, let me be honest for half a second. No matter how politically incorrect this is, but you are the leader of the free world with your finger on the nuclear button. So that's how dare he ask that question. Mm-hmm. You are literally in the most powerful position in the entire world. And if your mental capacity is such that he doesn't feel you can be your own Department of Justice, these are your employees who said, this dude can't be prosecuted for this. We don't think he'd get convicted because this is how a jury would perceive him. If they're the ones out there saying this about you, your people are saying this about you, and they're just now scratching the tip of that iceberg, what is truly going on behind the scenes? I heard a comment made off the record that when Joe Biden did the interview, because they made a big one, this was the day after the attack on Israel. Okay. But the attack wasn't on the United States. And we didn't really do anything to help Israel. We literally did nothing. The day after those attacks, if you're sitting there, if you're so not concerned about Israel that you're doing interviews for 2 days straight with federal investigators, I don't for 1 second believe that it affected anything you said or did during those interviews. I'm sorry. This had nothing to do with the United States except that our ally had a terrorist attack on them. That didn't stress you out, dude. And if it did, this is far worse than anybody could realize. Yes, John. Can I say this about Peter Ducey? I used to have a great deal of respect for him. I don't respect people in the White House reporter pool who make it their job to ask insinuating questions just to get their faces and their voices on TV. That guy from CNN during Trump's presidency was exactly the same way. It wasn't about asking an honest question like, oh, God, what was that guy's name? Now he has his own weekend 1-hour show on CNN. I can picture his face. I can't remember his name. If somebody remembers it in the chat, please put it in there. But the guy asked, I remember the worst question in the world I've ever heard from a reporter. He asked this of Donald Trump when Trump was meeting with Kim Jong-il of North Korea. Acosta, thank you, Rick. Yep, Jim Acosta. When he yells out while Trump is walking through the grass with the president of North Korea, leader of North Korea, the dictator of North Korea, hollers out the question, Mr. President, are you a racist? Really, dude? Really? And I am sorry, but I see Peter Ducey going down that same path. Like he's garnering his stardom at the expense of asking, to me, what are legitimate questions of the president. Like he has the ability, being in the White House Reporters Pool, to ask legitimate questions, and instead he has reverted to this state of gotcha questions. And I don't like that. I don't think there's any place for that. I don't believe that White House pool reporters should be doing that. That's just my opinion. So, go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
Yeah, listen, and everything you've said is spot on.
Okay, use it 11. See you guys next week.
Here's my issue. Here's my issue,
Yes.
and Trump spoke to it, right? Trump
Yes.
talked about the two-tiered system of justice, right? Which is exactly what that's the thing about this entire story that messes me up the most. And I'm not a Trump supporter, right? This is not about Trump. But we have Trump, who was president, who has the ability to declassify documents. He shouldn't have had the documents, but fine, okay. He had the ability as president to declassify if he chose to. And he had those at Mar-a-Lago. Okay? We have Biden, who was not the president at the time, did not have the ability to declassify those. And he took them to his personal residence in Delaware and stored them in a garage. Okay? If the only reason we're not prosecuting Biden, but we're prosecuting Trump, is because Biden has age issues and memory issues, because that's what it certainly sounds like to me. Well, Biden's going to present himself as just a nice, kind, gentle old dude with memory issues. If that's the only reason that we're not prosecuting Biden, then something's screwed. And the other thing I will say is just keep in mind, this report was released by the DOJ. The DOJ is run by who? Merrick Garland. Who appointed Merrick Garland? Joe frickin' Biden. So this isn't even like a political witch hunt of Merrick Garland and the DOJ going after Trump because Trump is the other party and the presumptive nominee. And you can make arguments all day long about why the DOJ would want to harpoon Trump. This is the DOJ, which is run by a guy that was appointed by Biden in the first place. You know that Merrick Garland saw the report before it got released. He had to sign off on it. So the DOJ knew about this, and even they're saying our guy is a decrepit old dude with bad memory, Tom.
So you say that, if the only difference between Trump and Biden is the fact that one is an old man that is looking for his pancakes and the other is a member of the other party. If memory is the only thing that separates that two-tiered justice, I feel better about that than I do the fact that someone's using political power to try to sink an opponent. I think that's worse.
Oh, no, I would agree with you. I'm just saying the only difference I can find in the two, right?
Yeah.
You had two people who left office.
Yep.
Two people who took documents with them.
Yep.
Two people who took documents to their own personal residences, right?
Yes.
That's the only difference.
Right.
And the fact that Donald Trump could declassify his own documents and Biden could not.
Right.
So why are you prosecuting Trump and not Biden?
That's political.
Yeah. Lori?
I think it goes back to the elder abuse or whatever you want to call it. I think that Merrick Garland is just looking at it. He's not going to prosecute Biden because there's already an internal power struggle. They put Biden up, he got in, and he's been declining ever since. Dr. Jill Biden and others have been propping him up. They've been going through the motions for him. And now it's a matter of who's going to succeed. And I think you have a bunch of different heads of agencies who are trying to figure out how far do they implicate themselves in the cover-up.
We'll talk about who's going to succeed him if this goes awry in the next segment. But
there are some issues with the idea of succession, I guess. I mean, if that's the label we're going to use. I've done a whole bunch of digging on this, and there's just some legal obstacles.
Yeah, we'll get to all that at the bottom of the hour when we get to the next segment. I cannot, for the life of me, Paul, tell me if you agree with this statement.
Okay.
I cannot, for the life of me, envision a scenario where Joe Biden wins re-election.
No way.
Because
I can.
As you and I talked on the phone, Paul.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Finish your thought. I want to hear.
Okay. As you and I talked on the phone, Paul, I can already imagine the campaign commercials that are going to run in the months before the election.
100%, brother. Yep,
The phone
100%.
rings, some Joe Biden lookalike dude laying in bed answering the phone. Hello? Bo, is that you? Bo, you're still alive. No, Mr. President, this is CENTCOM. We have this is NORAD. Sorry, we have missiles en route from China. Bo, I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying I can imagine those types of commercials coming out, and the Republican Party, if they're smart, will beat this into the ground every second of every minute of every day after they have their nominee, not to prop up their own guy, but to make Joe look like Jell-O. And Paul, what were you going to say about you? You could see him still winning.
Yeah. So listen, on election night 3 years ago, where were you and I, Kevin?
We were right here in studio.
What happened that night, Kevin?
No, I okay. You're talking about funny.
You see where I'm going?
Funny about. I see it, but I don't think it'll be close enough. Like, I don't think it'll be close enough. I think.
Listen, I still can't figure out how Joe Biden. How did Joe Biden? Donald Trump had the most votes for president in the history of the United States, 81 million. And somehow, Joe Biden got 10 million votes more than the first African American ever elected.
Do you know what?
No way. I don't see it.
Do you know what kind of scrutiny this election's going to be under from people?
So
that they're people of their free will.
Tom, you're right, man. You're right.
Every aspect of it.
The same level of scrutiny that they were under last time, and let me tell you what.
Oh, I think it's going to be more because last time the movie 2000.
Really? Because the court, yes. Okay, take that movie, for example, right? You hear people on the left all the time saying that election was litigated from here to the moon. Judges they refused to hear the case. And almost every time they talked the reason that they wouldn't hear it had to do with the fact that the cases were either presented. There was always an excuse, like the case was presented wrong, or they didn't have standing. That was my favorite one. Oh, you don't have standing to put this case in front of us. And essentially, no judge wanted to touch it. They didn't want to touch it, man, because they were afraid of what it would do. Nothing was litigated in the courts. Nothing. Not a single case was litigated before those courts. So you know what? We don't know if any of those cases about the election being stolen from Trump, we have no idea if any of them were legitimate or not. We don't know.
That's true, but because of all of that conversation and all that that contention and all those questions, people are going to pay attention this time around.
I hope so, man.
You're probably
half of this country.
Are you kidding me?
Half of this.
There's going to be a Gladys Kravitz in every small town who's going to sit out there and watch ballot boxes.
And half of America is willing to do whatever it takes to ensure Trump does not get elected, because to them, he's Adolf Hitler reincarnated.
That's true.
And every one of them is going to feel like they are doing their duty and they're doing a favor to the world by doing whatever they have to do to not let him get elected. That's my fear, man, is that half of the country has had it ingrained into them that he is evil incarnate, and they all feel justified in saying and doing whatever they have to. So you asked if I could ever see a situation in which he doesn't win. Yes, I could envision that. I'm there with you, though, Tom. I think that people would not allow that to happen. I want to believe that. But I watched what happened. We were live on air, man. We left that studio going, well, I guess Trump won again, man. Yeah, no way he loses 4 straight states.
And
while we're overbid, especially after they said we're not counting anymore tonight. But yet magically they did.
Agreed, but if anomalies like that come up now, they're going to be questioned immediately.
I hope so, man. I do
Talk
hope
about
so.
this more in a second. Let's do the bottom of the hour break. On the Facebook side, we'll check your comments in chat. When we come back, we'll ask who might take his place if he steps aside. It's Outlaw Radio. All right, here we go. Outlaw Radio on the Facebook side. Let's check our chat boxes. Don said, "My thought: this is a fight between Trump and Soros." Okay, I don't disagree with that. Corey says, "I'm with you, Tom. I think this will be the fairest, safest election in years." Nancy said, "Numbers were changed that night. Pennsylvania for one." I wasn't aware that Pennsylvania numbers had changed. I know that we saw some out of Ohio, out of Georgia, out of Wisconsin. I wasn't aware of the
Some legitimate issues out of Pennsylvania.
Was it?
That you had a,
I'm not
you
saying
had
she's
a-
wrong. I'm just saying I wasn't aware.
Yeah, right. No, that you had a guy that drove the big trucks for the post office, who came out and basically expressed that he watched people load extra ballot boxes on the truck that were not legitimate ballots. So, but again, that dude got threatened and was forced to shut up, or else he was facing some serious civil and criminal penalties. And he recorded him being threatened. I mean, there's more than you can even talk about here, man. So much.
Rick's got a really good point in the chat as well. Trump's residents had Secret Service protection the whole time. Biden's did not. Biden's also had an admitted drug addict, dishonorable dischargee living there, and the docs removed from another location. Touche. Thank you, Rick. You're absolutely right. Nancy said the global elite are afraid of Trump. Corey said the difference is obstruction. Corey explained a little bit more. And then Nancy said, is Biden being drugged so the Dems can put Michelle Obama in his place as the nominee? I don't think he's being drugged. I just don't think he can keep his eyes open.
I agree.
It's that pancake coma.
Yeah. Because he doesn't even start till like 9 o'clock in the morning, and he's done around 1 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Every time I see him, all I can think is Pepperidge Farm remembers. Would you like a Werther's original, Joe? Joe, would you like a Werther's original? Yeah. God bless it, man.
We're back from break now.
Are we back on back on AM?
Yeah.
Hello, Facebook.
Oh, somebody
Hello,
knew.
Anyway, John says he'll be confined to his basement till the election, and another major conflict will happen. We had that conversation before. Trump's being charged with obstruction on the documents, nothing else. That's the difference between Trump and Biden's charges. I don't know how it's obstruction unless Trump lied about him.
But I also think it's obstruction just because Trump had the attitude of, no, boo, boo.
Stick your head.
Come and get him. Yeah.
All right, listen.
Not saying it's right.
People can't be sensitive.
I know.
They just can't. I mean, Trump could get out of his own way.
Exactly. He's always in his way.
He could just shut up.
If he could learn to shut his mouth, he could get out of his own way. But he's not going to do that. That's not in his psyche, right?
No, it's not.
It's like asking me to wear pants in public. It's unlikely.
His ego won't let him. I mean, your sense of civil decency, at least.
I'm not wearing pants right now. You just can't tell.
Whoa!
Wait a minute.
Just wow!
Update.
Just wow!
Update.
We did.
Is that updated 98 days?
Yeah.
So Wednesday
Yeah.
will be the confirming day.
Yeah.
So that means next Sunday will be no pants day.
No pants.
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
And Paul has to be
As long as I don't swear, right?
What's that, Paul?
As long as I can swear, right?
Yeah, don't swear, Paul.
At this
I'm trying
point,
not
I
to.
say it would kind of be an intentional thing, and we just go without pants next Sunday, anyways.
Yeah, I think if Paul's the one that messes it up for us, then I think that we do it anyway.
Okay.
Because Paul would do it on purpose so that he doesn't have to worry about it. I'll come in here in boxers. I don't care. I will walk through them all in boxers.
Oh, I have a plan.
Do you have a plan?
Oh, I have a plan.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Oh,
we'll talk about it.
I think Dennis might even know what my plan is.
Wait, I thought you guys were wearing something, just not pants. But you're wearing boxers?
I'll come in here in boxers. I don't care.
I'm not wearing boxers or pants.
Thank you.
Sun's
I
out
thought about
or
shorts,
shorts.
but
Sun's out,
it's too
calves out.
cold.
I'm not wearing shorts. I'm not wearing boxers. I'm not wearing pants.
Kilt?
Nope. I don't
No
have a
kilt?
kilt. I don't have a kilt.
Really?
I wanted to get one. It just didn't happen. It won't get here in time now. But I have a
Oh.
plan B.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Corey called
Sure.
me Lord. I'm just kidding,
Corey
Corey.
what?
He meant to type Lori.
Oh.
Call her Lord.
Lord, you are Lord.
Lord Lori.
Finally.
Don says
being
squirts.
recognized.
No, it won't be squirts.
And Nancy said, "Do y'all need Tom's story?" I don't know what that is. Is there a story about Tom we should
You
know?
realize Nancy is my aunt.
Yeah, but is she offering to tell us a story about your parents?
There are many stories.
All right.
I'm kind of afraid of what she might dig up, but
All right,
Well,
let's have
Nancy,
this-
let's talk.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Nancy, why don't you call the show at 10 o'clock and we'll have Tom's story time.
Oh,
Dennis will bust
God.
out some story time music.
Oh, don't
and
do
that'll be
that.
perfect. That'll be
don't
great.
do that.
All right, let's have this conversation right now. So some of you believe that Michelle Obama would take over. Some people believe that Kamala Harris is the most likely because she's the VP that she would slide into that spot like she slid into a lot of other spots. I believe it's Gavin Newsom. I believe that's who they would try to put up because what's more electable than a relatively attractive younger white dude from California who's a Democrat?
Here's the obstacles to any of those people.
Yeah.
The filing for the primaries,
Mm-hmm.
the end filing date, I want to say the last thing I read was December 8th, 2023.
For the primaries.
Right.
This would
So-
not be for primaries.
Right, but if they take Sleepy Joe out,
Brokered convention.
Yep.
Has a write-in ever won?
It wouldn't be a write-in because the let me. This is a really good question. Hold on.
Joe was a write-in in New Hampshire,
Not
I believe, this
for-
year, because they didn't get their stuff together in time
Oh.
with the state political party.
Hold on, I'm looking to see what the deadline is.
So there was I believe it was December 8th. There was an article I was reading that was that there were a number of different legal hurdles that they were going to have to try to get through in order to replace Sleepy Joe. And it was almost like they were going to have to ask the whole country to do a write-in.
Yeah. They don't have to do a write-in, right? So that, as I understand it, as your constitutional scholar, and I am a constitutional scholar, the deadlines apply to the ballots for the
Mhm.
primaries and the caucuses, but none of that is legally binding. The party can decide at the convention, in a brokered convention, who their nominee will be. So if they leave Joe in place and Joe is on all the ballots and he becomes the nominee, which he will, okay, because you can't get him off the ballots now.
Right.
So
yeah, we're past that deadline.
He makes it through the process. He's the nominee. In July, I think, is when it is. They're going to have the Democrat National Convention.
Mm-hmm.
Then somewhere between when the ballots are all cast and that convention, they decide Joe's not the guy. Joe removes himself or something. Okay? Then they would have a brokered convention, which would be a disaster for the Democrats.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you would have the squad and their supporters looking for somebody really far left. You would have mainstream Dems looking for somebody more centrist. You would just have chaos.
Yes.
But then they could still broker the convention and nominate whoever they want.
It sounds like a dumpster fire, regardless of who they put up.
I think there's only two names they could put up.
Like who?
Three
I mean,
names. Three names. I think there's only three names
okay,
they could put
you
up.
got Obama.
Nope. Yeah.
You got Harris.
I don't think Michelle Obama's on anybody's list.
Things I've been reading, she's been quietly talking to Dem donors
And raising money.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you right now. I don't think there's any way she's on anybody's list. For that short of a turnaround time,
I
maybe
agree.
for a normal election cycle, maybe, but that short of a turnaround, I don't think it's her. Here's your three, and you guys, Paul's going to vomit. Here's your three, okay? Kamala Harris, because she is the VP, she'd be the logical choice. I don't like her, but I think she'd be the logical
She
choice.
doesn't have the popular support.
2, Gavin Newsom.
He doesn't have the popular support.
No Democrats have popular support. Gavin Newsom is 2. And 3, Paul, please don't vomit on camera, Hillary Clinton.
Too old. Too old. Too much.
I'm just
too many
I'm
skeletons
just
in the
telling
closet.
you. I'm just telling you. And we could see the rematch of Clinton and Trump again.
Too many skeletons in the closet.
It didn't stop her 6
Many
years
dead
ago.
people.
Yeah, but there's Epstein and all that stuff now.
There's nothing that has linked the Clintons to Epstein. Just that Bill flew in his plane, but
So
there's
did Hillary.
But there's no proof they went to the island, and there's no proof they did anything illegal.
It doesn't matter. It's still guilt by association.
There's no guilt with the Clintons. They are made out of Teflon. They are made out of Teflon. Vince Foster was killed in a park across the street from the White House. And everybody's like, oh, nothing to see here. And somehow nothing happened. I think Hillary might be your most likely.
That would be 2020 all over again.
I think Hillary might be your most likely because then they don't have to deal with the issue that Kamala brings. And they don't have to burn Gavin Newsom at the stake because there's no way he'd be able to build a national platform between July to November. So instead you take Hillary that if she loses, the party still survives and they're fine. I think it makes perfect sense for the Dems because she nearly beat Trump. And she's awful.
She is awful.
What do you think,
so
Paul?
Is Trump, though, so...
What do you think,
I think that whatever you're smoking, you should pass it around. There's no way, Hillary. No way. No way.
There's not a very long list of people that they can put.
I think it's Gavin Newsom, bar none.
Corey says Gretchen Whitmore. I just don't think she has national name recognition and wouldn't have enough time to build her platform. You're only going to have July, August, September, October, November, 4 months.
Whoever it is, it doesn't matter if they win or lose. They're going to look like a hero either way. Right. There's going to be no pressure on them to win because they stepped in at the last minute. Right.
Right.
So, they're good. They'll be like, hey, man, I did this for the country. I did this because, I was asked to. And that'll be the end of it. And that's why I'm pretty sure it'll be Gavin Newsom because he's going to do it and he's going to come in and he's going to look like a martyr, like he took one for the team. And in doing so, sets himself up to run in 4 years.
I don't think Newsom. The trouble is, I don't think the DNC is going to put someone up that they don't think can actually win. And there's no way Newsom can win. He's bankrupted California, the 7th largest economy on the globe. I mean, that's going to be the forefront of...
Those are just right-wing talking points. Come on, Tom. That's what the left says.
Lori's right.
Really,
That is what the left
says. But voters right now are concerned about the economy.
Most.
But there's a bunch of
according
voters.
to...
Oh, go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
No, I interrupted. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, for some voters, it doesn't matter. Because some voters are going to vote for anybody not named Trump. He hurts my feelings and he makes me uncomfortable and he's a misogynist. And I'm not going to vote for him no matter what.
Or as an employee, a lot of people across the United States look at California and go, oh, look at all the employee guaranteed benefits they get. Oh.
Yeah, and look at the
but they're bankrupt. I know.
State.
Nobody understands that they're bankrupt, not only in the state, but also they are way overextended and owe the federal government huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
Just in the employee tax realm.
I swear on all that is holy. If Michelle Obama somehow becomes the Democrat Party nominee, I will shave all body hair off of Paul. All right. So just so we're clear, I am that
You're
sure.
shaving, not waxing, right?
I do. I'd rather get waxed. Oh, shave back your itch. Ooh.
On next Sunday's show, Tom will be waxed.
No, he won't.
We did have a member of this radio crew get waxed live on air, so it's been done, Tom.
Yeah, Caleb did. Yeah, Paul's brother Caleb. The strip guy. We were at a bar. We were broadcasting live from Kelvin G's Tropic Blast. Boy, how that lasted for a long time. Wow. Yeah. He got waxed live on air.
No.
I'm just glad I didn't lose that bet.
No,
because I would have had to have been me. No, but listen, I don't. They have to have a sacrificial lamb. That's why I don't think it'll be Newsom or Michelle, because I think either one of them could be potential candidates for the party later. So why put them up and have them lose on a national scope when you're behind the 8 ball? It's easier to put somebody up that already has known name recognition, already has a platform that they've formulated that people are somewhat familiar with. The Clinton name makes a lot of sense. Again, I'm not advocating for it.
No, it
So is
doesn't.
the Obama name.
But we don't have a body of work for Michelle.
I think that's to her benefit because the rest of the options have a horrible body of work. It's a dumpster fire.
So you like her body of work? That's
I don't
weird.
know
All right, Outlaw
anything.
Radio Network. Tom's clearly got a thing for Michelle Obama. We'll talk about that on the Facebook side. It's Outlaw Radio. Back after this.
Network.com.
Live on Facebook.
All right, more comments in chat. Rick says Herrick's makes sense as a sacrifice. That would be a way for the party to
Yeah.
shut her up.
It's true.
But don't you think they risk losing like the moderates, losing independents, losing the vote?
The DNC can't
Losing
win.
credibility.
Yeah.
I don't think the DNC can win the presidency this cycle. It's going to be Trump. It's going to be a weird third party year. It's going to be anyone but DNC.
Okay.
John says Newsom, no. Harris, and that's not what he called her, but I'm not going to repeat it.
Mhm.
Harris would mean a Trump win for sure, so probably Obama would be it. Nancy said yes. Michael, she means Michelle,
Mhm.
is the only one. Corey says they would lose everything putting Harris as the nominee.
Yeah.
Corey says I'd almost shave my beard if she didn't become the nominee. Almost. Corey, want to put a wager on it? If she becomes the nominee, I will shave all of Paul's body hair. And if she does not become the nominee, then you have to shave your
stop it,
beard
Kevin.
live in studio on air.
Oh.
In studio on air, we get to shave your beard off. Let us know if you're up for that.
Shave your ball hairs off, Kevin.
No way. Leave my beard alone.
Rick says Auntie Nancy won't let Gavin be sacrificed. Corey says he won't run. The year 2028 will be his time. I think you're going to see a candidacy of Newsom and AOC
Yeah.
in 2028. I think that's what the party's waiting for.
The pendulum's
Will
swinging
she be
the other
old
way.
enough?
Yeah, she's old enough now.
All right, we're coming back.
Outlaw Radio. We're back after this. Tom still loves Kamala or Michelle.
It's Kamala. Don't go.
This is Spike Cohen, the reigning and defending Libertarian vice presidential candidate, and you're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio Network.
I have a conspiracy
You have
theory.
a counter from Corey.
Uh-oh.
I'm not hitting a joint, Corey. I don't know why you guys want me to get high so bad. Like, I don't understand it. I've
Okay.
made it 52 and a half years without getting high. I think I'm fine. Go ahead, Lori.
So I've got my tinfoil hat on.
Yes, you
by
do.
Reynolds Wrap, aluminum.
Sponsored by Black Ring Spirits.
Yeah. So riddle me this. What if the DNC says, hey, Robert Kennedy Jr., come back to the fold?
I can't.
We
see that
made a
happening.
mistake.
He burned bridges when he left. I think you'd be more likely to see Joe Manchin.
Really?
He had a
Then-
great.
and
He had a
Kennedy.
great commercial during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I saw the commercial. I thought it was interesting.
Manchin had one or Kennedy had one?
Yeah.
Kennedy.
Kennedy.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
see it. Oh, I hear music. What is that?
That was her tinfoil hat
Oh,
music.
we have tinfoil
Thank
hat
you.
theme
But-
music.
Yeah.
And then she took it off. So,
Thank
So you had
you.
to kill the music.
Thank you,
All right.
Jake.
that's like putting on stripper music and then she took her clothes off. So we have to stop it.
If you play stripper music, I'll start taking my clothes off, Dennis. You go for it.
And then we really have to stop it.
I know. The best thing about it is you can't see it on AM, and on Facebook, it's totally legal. All right. Anyway.
Liz Cheney. Oh.
Republicans wouldn't grab Liz Cheney.
No.
Oh, the Democrats?
Mm-hmm.
No, because she's not a Democrat.
She would be if it meant getting elected president.
She doesn't support abortion rights. The Democrats aren't going to put anybody up who doesn't support abortion rights.
Well, that's true. She also threw her gay sister under the bus when talking about gay rights issues too.
Yeah. So she's persona non grata. I mean, whoever gets nominated by the Dems is going to support a couple of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to support abortion rights.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to support expanding the Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to support open borders.
And a fourth.
What's the fourth?
Student loan forgiveness. Right now, if anybody wants the millennial and Gen Z vote, they got to be talking about that.
Yeah, but I don't know how they can.
Mm-hmm.
That comes out of Congress.
I
mean,
know.
Joe's been able to do some stuff, but widespread adjustment of student loan debt. And by the way, all my debt's been forgiven, so you guys can pay off all your debts. Anyway, sorry, I'm just being funny. The only people that can really do anything widespread with that is Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Biden tried. I mean, he was able to do
But
some
the
things
people-
that were within his executive privilege, but
Kevin, the people who want it, don't give a damn about any of that. They see the Democratic president as somebody who could wave a magic wand and make things go away, and then that's who they're going to vote for. Just based on that.
Yep.
I think the student loan forgiveness issue is probably to my interpretation, it's kind of the line in the sand that differentiates your moderate Dems from your further left. I think the more moderate Democrats realize that it's kind of a pipe dream. It just student loan forgiveness
No, I agree.
is probably
I agree.
not going to happen.
But think about your younger voter.
Yeah,
Just
Lori's
getting out of
100% right
college,
on that.
They thought they were
Right.
going to
Yep.
get $150,000 first off for their job and everything, and it's
which
not
is
that
ridiculous.
way. No, I know.
But I disagree with you, though. I think there are some conservatives and some Republicans that are okay with some level of student loan debt forgiveness because
I didn't say
as
it
Paul
was
has said,
if or
as
then.
Paul has talked about before, right? This is not just about the student loan, right? If the student loans were reasonable and the interest rate was reasonable and you couldn't sell it 1,000 times and change the terms every time you sold it, that would be one thing.
Oh, I
But
agree.
we have created a form of indentured servitude in this country when it comes to the student loan.
Yes.
Where you get the student loan under X, Y, and Z provision. And then by the time it's been sold and turned over, we know people, and Paul, it might be you, I don't remember for sure, where they owed $50,000 in student loans. They paid $50,000 in student loan
And they
student
still
loan
owe
payments back, and they still owe
$50,000.
$48,000 in student loans. I mean, that stuff's ridiculous. So student loan relief has to happen in this country in some way.
Oh, my student loans were a monster to pay off, but
mine too.
I did it.
And I'm not
some of it-
advocating for waiving the loans, but something has to be done to fix.
Well, in our generation, us old Gen Xers, student loans coming out of high school for us.
Speak for yourself, Tom.
They were predatory.
And they still are.
I mean, in a different way now. Now it's just this selling of the loans over and over, but some of the real predatory behaviors were fixed.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think personally, I think if the government is going to give student loans, I don't think they should be collecting interest.
Oh, agreed.
I don't think the government is in the business of making money off of citizens.
Shouldn't
So
be.
if you want the federal government to help people go to college by giving loans, then I think they should give the loans at no interest and not be allowed to sell the loan. Now, if you go get a loan from a private entity, a bank, a lender, whatever, okay, fine. That's all independent, right? They can charge interest. They're a lender. That's what they do for a living. But the federal government should not be in the business of making money off of people.
Agreed.
And so I would in my rainbow unicorn universe, I'd force the federal government to bring back all of its student loans,
Mhm.
Well,
wipe away all the interest and penalties, and make people pay back what they borrowed.
That makes a ton of sense. I mean, the other thing you have to think about though is what did you get your education in? Right?
What did I?
No, just
No,
you,
no. In
the
general.
person in general, right?
But I don't even.
If you got your education in something that is marketable and in demand, if you went into medicine, if you went into engineering, you're going to get a good job. It's going to take time to build tenure and build up an income, but you're going to make a good living and pay those loans off. If you've got a degree in underwater basket weaving, or I don't know, the study of migratory, waterfowl or something, yeah, you're going to have a hard time paying that loan off. So choose wisely.
Yeah, but I think to go back
Tried to
to
follow the waterfowl,
something
wasn't
that
my
Robert
fault.
Parker also mentioned, it's not just the students. Look at the colleges, universities. They have private endowment funds.
Mhm.
Instead of using those to help out students, they're raking in buku bucks from the government, from their donors. They're padding.
They're
And
padding the pocketbook of
right, but then they're also
faculty.
raising their prices. When you and
Yeah.
I went to college, it was a heck of a lot cheaper
Yeah.
than today.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to me, the whole system that's going on. Yeah, I think it needs an overhaul 100%. But I do think that as the voting bloc for millennial, Gen Z age groups, those who are active in politics, that's kind of the talking points that are coming up on different forums and discussions at this point, is that they want a candidate who's going to come in and succeed where Biden failed, because in their minds, Biden failed them.
So check this out. If you want a 4-year degree from the University of Washington,
Mhm.
one of the greatest universities in this nation, by the way.
Mm.
Okay. Home of the final Pac-12 champions, by the way.
Who cares?
If you live
I
on
care.
campus,
Mhm.
for 4 years,
Mhm.
the cost of your degree will be $122,000
Yep.
on average.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
Agreed.
is insane.
Agreed.
Now, if you are not, if you are just doing tuition,
So not living on campus.
not living on campus, it's less than $13,000 a year. So if
Wait,
you do a
say that over
4-year,
again.
It's less than 13. So you're
about
For-
52,000
yeah.
52,000 for a degree.
That's good to know.
But that's still a lot.
Right.
I mean, that's still what is that $52,000 going to? You had, let's say, 25 kids in a class, each of them paying,
It's more than that in your freshman classes.
Yeah, it
like
depends.
350.
Yeah,
well,
your freshman and sophomore classes, your 100 level
Yeah.
courses are in freaking
Yeah.
And I
auditoriums.
don't have any issue with paying kids NIL money, right? All this money that these student athletes are getting because football brings in a lot of money.
Well, they're getting it whether you like it or not, brother.
Yeah, no, I know.
that money coming in from football really should be going towards operating the school.
Well, now they have to pay the student athletes.
They could pay the student athletes with lower tuitions and education costs.
But they can't. That's been deemed not. They could.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they
can.
they would fail.
It's a ridiculous conversation. I mean, the logical
because other
thing to
colleges
do-
would, and then they would lose out, and then they wouldn't have a football team that drew anybody, so they'd lose all the income, and then it would just become.
well,
spiraling
I
circle.
understand
and
that.
then they'd eventually become an irrelevant football program like the Washington State Cougars. So it's
Kevin was praying everybody would laugh at that one. Become irrelevant like the Washington State Cougars.
I
It's just going to fly, Kevin. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Which is still a good college with a good education, even without a Pac-12 football team.
So
So Central Washington University,
Mm-hmm.
good school without a
depends on what you're studying.
yeah. Well, absolutely, yes.
You know what the biggest lie told at Wazoo is? I was just helping that sheep over the fence.
Oh my gosh.
That's true.
Rick Eckert, yes, you're correct. UW football coach was the highest paid. I'm not sure about the new coach. I know when Leach was over at Wazoo, he was the highest paid Washington State employee.
But I don't have an issue with that.
No, I don't either. I'm just calling it out.
Because if you look at the return on the investment, right, you're paying them $7 million a year, $9 million a year, whatever it is. But then you look at the return on the investment that a successful not even just exposure, right? But that a successful football program has in gate receipts and television money and bowl appearances and merchandise sales and people donating to endowments because the programs are, I mean, you have to look at the return on investment. That's why I've never had an issue with how much money they pay these head coaches, because if they're successful, the money that returns into that
there is
far exceeds what they're paying out.
Right. And there's still so much money there that could go into operating the college at a lower tuition price and still have all that money for the athletic program and the coaching, et cetera, et cetera.
You're just jealous because your team doesn't measure up.
No.
Oh God.
I'm frustrated for the youth of our country.
Oh God.
Robert says college courses should be throttled to be lower for skills highly needed in the economy and not for basket weaving.
Well, I mean, come on. We're going to start putting kitty litter boxes into colleges, too. They're already in the school.
Hey,
Yeah, they're in the school.
Okay, Dennis, how dare you? If your child identified as a cat, you would want equal rights for that child.
I think Robert has a really good point, though. I mean, if we need engineers, so let's drop the price of that down a little bit and encourage people to engineers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
or do some strippers on the weekend.
That's a fair point.
Outlaw Radio.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
I was going to strip down, but then I remembered that I'm wearing my Jesus and the 12 Disciples shirt. This is
Changed
actually
the mood drastically.
It made it funny.
This is one of my favorite shirts, actually. I got this from a website, but it says Jesus and the 12s Salvation Tour. It's like a band T-shirt. And on the back, you can't really see, but on the back, it got like concert dates, but instead it's all the places in the New Testament where Jesus performed miracles. It's a pretty cool shirt. I like it.
It is.
It is. All right.
Where'd you get it from?
Some website online. I don't remember
Some website.
Oh, okay.
I just don't remember the website. I don't.
I was perusing Pornhub, and
so
there it was.
often online.
Some Ugandan, if you buy a T-shirt, we'll give you all the money in our bank account.
Nigerian prince.
Yeah, Nigerian
I bought it
prince
from a Nigerian prince.
Man, I'm not gay, but for that Nigerian prince, I might consider it. Corey says we need more trade schools, and they should be giving more scholarships to trade schools.
I agree.
Here's why I don't agree.
Why?
Oh, I'm curious.
Because
this should be interesting.
There would be more trade schools if we had a desire for more trades. I mean, the key crux of what America is supply and demand, right? If we need it, if you want it, they will do it and supply it, and you'll make money off of it. There's not more trade schools because most kids don't want to go to trade schools. If you had more trade schools, they still wouldn't want to go.
That's because when our kids are coming out of high schools right now, the counselors are all beating the drum still to go to college, go to college, go to college.
Yeah.
Well, but you'd have to change that then before you could open more trade
Right.
schools.
We have a huge skills gap.
Kevin, what's the name on that spot again?
Diesel Works Northwest.
Do you know?
We're going to do
how
a commercial real quick. I forgot about that.
Oh. Do you know how much it costs to get your house plumbed right now? If
That's
you
what
build
she said.
a brand new building, you have to have a certified plumber come and do the work.
$40,000.
All right.
No,
We
plumber's
ready?
making like $300 an hour right now.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Lawyer rates.
So K-Dog's going to do blind read on this commercial. We're going to get one take. That's why they call him one take K-Dog, the constitutional scholar. Successfully in a
So
relationship.
won't happen.
by the way. I'm
So
now a
won't
relationship
happen.
expert. All right, here we go.
To the hundreds and hundreds of women in the Niagara Falls area.
That's right. Diesel Works Northwest, Dennis.
Jesus Squirter.
3, 2, 1. Diesel Works Northwest reminds us that many veterans returning from service are in need of work. Many have elite military training and valuable professional skills that can benefit your company. Show your stripes. Hire smart and hire vets. This message is courtesy of our good friends at Diesel Works Northwest at 19118 100th Avenue Northeast in Bothell. For the best #1 diesel mobile mechanic around, hands down, call a true local gem at 425-892-5113. Again, 425-892-5113. Where Justin says, fly your flags high. It's USA all the way. Welcome home, troops.
32.
Okay, you want me to do it a little bit faster?
Nah, I could fix it. Go ahead. Entertain your audience.
All right. How many things are in this commercial that are just nonsensical? All of them. Fly your flags high. USA all the way. Welcome home, troops. Hire smart. Hire vet. Show your stripes.
Hire S-Smart.
Corey says they have pushed 4-year schools for fat too long. Come on, Corey. I think you went
Far.
And we are in blue collar shortage.
Yeah, the R and the T are right.
And your typing skills probably needed one more semester.
Whoa!
I'm just
It's
playing
Sunday
Corey. I
night
love you, Corey.
after the
and he's
Super
probably
Bowl.
been drinking after watching Super Bowl. That's true. Robert says, need cops greatly discount the cost of criminology degrees. Let the government subsidize the classes for what we need and stop public and taxpayer support for student loans. You know, in theory, Robert, I don't think you're wrong.
And
but
we got
I
about
think
45 seconds.
But I think we have to do other things before we start trying to push people into law enforcement. Because as long as our cops are treated like second-class citizens and treated like they've got leprosy, we're not going to get anybody to go do it. We need to focus as a nation on restoring the honor that comes in law enforcement and protecting the honor that is law enforcement, right?
That's going to take time, though, and we have to have law enforcement while we make that cultural
Well,
shift.
you better increase their freaking pay then.
Yep. No, agreed.
And civilian
Yeah,
oversight.
we did not pay cops enough. Absolutely not.
And civilian oversight.
10 seconds.
I want body cams on all of them and civilian oversight. Outlaw Radio. We're coming back on the AIM side after this.
Network.com.
Yes! Way to go, Lauren. Oh, for God's sakes. Oh, my fucking God.
Let me touch you. That was cool.
What the?
I am Cornholio! I am Cornholio! Something from Apple! Picada!
By the way,
You're welcome.
True story. For dinner tonight, I made tacos, right? And so I went and I was gonna. We were actually gonna make it with carne
You had
asada.
Taco Tuesday on Sunday
With
night?
Super Bowl, yeah, it made sense.
Okay.
So I was gonna use.
Kind of like breakfast for dinner.
I was
It's
gonna
cool.
use carne asada.
Okay.
But when I got to the store, they had no carne asada. So you know what I bought instead?
What?
Beef piccata. And all I could hear in my entire head the whole time was
Picada! I am Cornholio! Picada!
I do not. What the hell are you guys laughing at? What is funny about? There's literally nothing funny about this. Oh, good Lord.
Are you threatening me?
Funnier when I call him daddy. I mean, this stuff, though, is crazy.
I need Tippy for my bunghole!
Oh, you need something for your bunghole. I'll tell you what, man.
Like, shut up, Beavis, before I kick your ass again. Oh.
Anyway.
Kevin on
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh my God. I don't know why I find it so funny. I do the voice for
Neither does anybody else.
Everybody loves it.
Nobody loves it.
When I check our email, this is the highest rated spot we do outside of Writer Racist. This is our highest rated segment.
Beavis and Butthead.
I think you're actually smoking the pot you keep telling us you're not.
Oh.
Like, no adult human being actually finds Beavis and Butthead funny. It'd be like a 50-year-old thinking Terrence and Phillip off of South Park is funny.
Hold it. Terrence and Phillip from South Park are funny. So is Beavis and Butthead.
They're fart jokes. Fart jokes.
Funny. They're funny.
Fart jokes.
I know, but they're funny.
Oh,
It's one
blame
of the few
Canada.
redeeming qualities of South Park because I'm not a big South Park fan.
You gotta laugh.
But Terrence and Phillip and the flip top heads for the Canadians, I crack those jokes all the time.
Oh,
My favorite
All right.
Terrence and Phillip is the song that I can't sing on AM.
blame Canada.
No,
Blame,
no,
not that
the
one.
Uncle,
You know,
Uncle song.
No,
Uncle
it's-
song.
it's
you know,
all
there's a guy that's losing his memory. I know him personally. I won't give out his name. I'm not talking about Joe Biden, right?
Oh, it's
Well,
so-
he
Joe-
goes out and he is at the golf course. And while he's out on the golf course, it dawns on him when he's out there golfing, he doesn't know what hole he's on. And so he looks around and he sees everybody around him and he sees this lady playing in front of him and he says, "Excuse me, ma'am, excuse me. Can you please tell me what hole I'm on?" She goes, "Well, I'm on the 8th hole, so you're behind me. That means that you're on the 7th hole." "Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, ma'am." And he continues, playing golf. But a few holes later, he says, "Oh my God, I forgot what hole I'm on again, right? So I don't even know how to mark my score down." Sees the same lady in front of him, asks her, "Excuse me, ma'am, could you please tell me what hole I'm on?" She goes, "Well, I'm on the 15th hole, so you're on the 14th hole." "Oh, thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate that. Now I know where to put my score." Well, later, after the game is over, he's telling me that he goes to the bar. Because all these golf courses and stuff, I guess they have bars. I don't know. I don't play golf. You guys might know. I've never gone out golfing. And so he says to me that he sees the same lady sitting in the bar having a drink. So he walks over to her and he says, "Hey, I'm just curious." He's like, "You had a very nice, pleasant personality out there. I'm curious what you do for a living." She goes, "Nah, you'll laugh." He goes, No, I swear I won't laugh, right? This guy's a real professional. Again, I don't want to give his name, but he says, I'm a professional. It's cool. I won't laugh. And she goes, "Okay, well, I'm a tampon salesman. I work for one of the largest tampon manufacturers in the country, and I go around and sell tampons." And he bursts out laughing. And she's like, "See, I told you you would definitely start laughing." He goes, "No, you don't understand. You don't understand." She's like, "What? I told you you'd laugh and you're laughing." He goes, "No, you really don't understand." And she goes, "Okay, what then?" He goes, "I'm a toilet paper salesman. So again, I'm one hole behind you."
Paul?
Screw you, Kevin. Not even a little laugh from Kevin.
Oh.
You know it was funny, Kevin. You know it was funny.
You must bow down to the Almighty Bangholio.
Anyway.
Come out with your pants down.
Like,
Remember that
like I tell a legitimate joke, gets nothing out of Kevin, but as soon as he starts talking about cornholio for my bungholio, he's all over, man. He just can't stop it.
Come out with your pants down.
Anyway.
God help me. God help me. Going straight to hell.
So can I eat crow a little bit?
Yes, please.
I'm going to read this story to you really quick.
Roasted, fried, in the oven. Is it baked? What kind of crow?
So here's what happened today. In Gaza. The Israeli military has rescued 2 hostages during a special operation conducted overnight in Rafah, which is in southern Gaza. 60-year-old Fernando Simon Marmon and 70-year-old Louis Har were both taken 128 days ago during the October 7th attack in Israel. The 2 are in good medical condition, and they've been transferred to a medical center in Tel HaShamor. The operation was done by the Israeli Security Agency and Israeli police. I was sure that any hostages were dead by now.
You didn't listen to St. Paul. I told you.
I have so many questions.
The majority of them probably are.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Good
But
for them. I mean, welcome home.
Yeah. I mean,
Has Hamas kind of walked away? I mean, or is this Israeli special forces just trying to find last known area.
Yeah, I mean they're probably keep an eye out for intelligence and any information they can get, and if they think that somebody's there, this would not. This is probably not the first time they've gone looking for hostages somewhere they thought they were.
Mhm.
This sounds like it's one of the few times that they've actually found
Successful,
them
yeah.
and didn't kill them.
Yeah.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
I was reading an article after the game today. Maybe it was before the game. It doesn't matter.
Probably before, because the game got over right about
Yeah,
showtime.
it was before. It, like I said, it doesn't matter. There's a politician in Northern Ireland who is talking about the future of Hamas.
Oh yes, great story, Tom.
Oh, did
Yes.
you read
Yes.
this one?
No,
Yes, sir. Please keep going. Yes, this is a great story.
Clip notes.
So yeah, the Cliff Note version of it was she was talking about in coming years how Hamas is going to have to be seen as, I believe the quote or the label for them will be a partner in peace.
Yep.
And then
What?
right.
Yes.
That's what caught me too.
Oxymoron. Much?
Yeah, well, and then she started making some correlations between Hamas and the IRA.
She had some points, didn't she, Tom?
And there were some points there that just kind of made me go, oh boy.
A student of history you are, Tom. A student of history.
Boy. Yeah, because the IRA for the longest time was considered a terrorist organization.
That is right. Yep.
There was no conversation to be had between the Crown and the IRA.
Right.
Well, they all get along fine now.
Granted, the IRA didn't take 108 people prisoner and execute 100 or 200 and some. I mean, they didn't. But she raised a valid point.
I bet you over the course of that conflict that the IRA probably made at least 250 hits. So what's the difference
For
between
sure.
making a hit or taking a hostage?
Well, when you study, I don't know how much of that you studied. I don't want to throw anybody off and make them think I studied it a lot. I studied it just a little bit. But again, the IRA were absolutely terrorists. The difference was there was one glaring difference. Okay. At no point in time did the IRA take the position the other people didn't have the right to exist.
That is the one and only thing. But I mean, they bombed subway stations and harmed civilians. I mean, they did all the things Hamas is doing.
I mean, they tried to take out royalty on more than one occasion. You remember when they tried hitting that dude's house on the coast of New England? I think John Clancy wrote about that. That was an interesting.
That wasn't a
work
true
of
story.
fiction.
That was come on.
God,
Jack Ryan was not real. Stop it.
Kevin's like, I'll prove Jack Ryan wasn't real. I'll prove it.
Speaking of the crown, have you guys heard about King Charles?
He's abdicated.
Abdicating his throne.
Mhm.
No. The word is
followed
that
any of
he will not abdicate under any circumstances now. So I don't know what to believe.
Really?
Yes.
The last report I saw on Friday was that he was going to abdicate to William because his cancer is advanced.
Well, here's something from Newsweek from 5 days ago. King Charles III has reduced his workload to light duties as he undergoes treatment for cancer,
Yes.
but quote, will never abdicate. Charles
Yes.
appeared in public for the first time on Tuesday since his diagnosis was announced by Buckingham Palace the day before. Am I the only one that's sick of the royals? Like, do they have any
Markle's
power?
sick of the royals.
I'm not sick of them. I'm just indifferent.
Do they have any power, really?
Very minimal.
I mean, they're kind of
And it's
like
mostly ceremonial.
They're kind of like Taylor Swift, right? And I'm not knocking Taylor Swift, but she's popular. She's famous. She's a
Taylor
product of
Swift.
national adoration, but she doesn't really, she doesn't influence national policy. She doesn't influence law. She doesn't
Really?
You know what I mean?
Oh,
I
she does.
bet you if Taylor Swift were to go out and say everybody should buy Black Ring spirits, I wouldn't be able to keep up.
Yep. Or if she says, you know what?
You should vote for Joe Biden
or vote for Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
People would be like, okay. Not saying it's right.
You guys are drunk.
No.
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 People would
I
not.
do not.
Yes,
I
they
think
would.
there is a
Tons
very
of people.
small.
Yes, they would.
Tons of people.
There is a very small demographic, maybe the 18 to 25 or 28-year-olds, right in that
That's
neighborhood.
not that small a demographic.
Yeah.
Well, it is. It is
That's
compared
election
to it. I don't think so. I think that that's a demographic that are already going to vote for Joe Biden.
Paul, this is for you.
But what I'm saying though is, and all I'm doing is arguing about the fact that someone like Taylor Swift doesn't have any influence.
So she has influence. Yeah, I don't think it'll be that much. But you never know.
I mean, it depends on what the message is.
If I was Taylor Swift, I would go on national television or go on Twitter with a live stream and say, vote for Trump, and then just watch it burn. I mean, that would be fabulous. Hi, I'm Taylor Swift, reminding you to vote for Donald Trump, and then just sit back with popcorn and watch the world burn around you. That would be freaking fabulous.
How did World War III start? Well, there was this pop singer named Taylor Swift
That's right.
who went onto Twitter, also known as X, and made a controversial
What?
tweet.
I don't know if I want to ask this question because Paul is going to say it's not really a story. Nobody's really talking about it, but they are.
What?
The Taylor Swift Travis Kelce thing.
What about it?
Why are people so bent out of shape about it?
Who cares?
No, I'm just curious why people care.
I don't know.
Like everybody's bitching and complaining still.
What do you mean?
She was on the field with Travis, and
Oh.
she was on TV for a whole 19 seconds, and and Travis Kelce.
Let me ask you a question, Kevin.
Because we all live in
Kevin,
the fishbowl of high school.
and how many people do you know that really gave a damn? Seriously, that whole situation was so made up and blown out of proportion. Yes, there were a few people that, for whatever reason, felt the need to express themselves, right? But whoever it was that started the trend, and I bet you can't even go figure out, like, where did this trend start? I'll bet you anything that the trend started with a couple of people on the left, who probably heard a friend or two say something like, God, I'm sick of seeing Taylor Swift on TV, right? Maybe they don't like the music or whatever. Maybe she said something political, supported something political, whatever, right? It started with, I guarantee you, it started with something completely innocuous, and it just kept, because only people I heard talking about it were people on the left. I didn't hear no people on the right saying anything other than, I watch football to watch football, not listen to them talk about Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the extent of what they were saying. And you, my friend, come on here and go, you're Taylor Swift. You're talking about Taylor Swift. Nobody's talking about her. Like, literally, you brought her up. Nobody else talking about her.
It's all over my social media.
No, it isn't. Where?
It really is. It all over.
Where?
How am
Call
I
people
supposed
out.
to show you what's
Call
in
them out
my
by name.
feed? How am I supposed
No,
to?
well, I'm just telling you. You say it's all over your feed, and that's fine. I want to believe you. So call out some people. Who of note do you know that's posted anti-Taylor Swift stuff?
Oh, Robert Parker for one. I mean, come on.
Well, then
I don't have
call
to
him
go
out
far
for
to
it. Then
draw
say
that
it.
map.
What did Robert Parker say about Taylor Swift?
Hold on, let me. I think he.
I know. I'm trying. I'm tossing the hand grenade in.
Yeah.
Pull pin. You know what you do when a sailor throws a hand grenade at you? You pull the pin and throw it back.
Whatever. Shut up. You be nice. You really need to be nice.
I thought that was nice.
The Navy is the Navy. The United States Navy is the deciding factor of every military action we've ever been in.
Yeah, that's like saying gang fights happen because they have a taxi service.
I'm going to push back on the war in Europe.
Really?
War in the Pacific, I would agree.
Really?
Yeah, war in Europe. The Army did a lot.
And how did
How'd they get there?
Oh,
though?
I agree.
How did
I mean,
the war in Europe start?
Yeah.
Like I said, the Navy's a glorified taxi service.
Yes, the Navy got them there. I understand that.
No
I was
Navy.
going to go with Iraq or Afghanistan.
No Navy.
Oh, it was Air Force.
Yeah.
No Navy. No Normandy. And by the way, Iraq was won mostly because of all the ballistic missiles that were fired off of Navy ships. We were able to completely pummel Iraq before we ever sent troops in.
No.
Come on, Paul. You weren't even in a real military. Come on.
No. That was I'm sorry. Hold on. I missed what you said there. I thought the journalist from the Navy just suggested I wasn't in the real service. Is that's not what was said, was it?
Uh-oh. Yeah, and yes, there are comments in chat. I'm aware the Navy was involved in the war in Europe, but I don't think the Navy was the deciding factor. No, they weren't the deciding factor for the war in Europe. War in the Pacific, absolutely.
The war in Europe couldn't have started had the Navy not
gotten them there. I
taken
totally
on.
agree. Totally agree. Not saying they
Listen,
weren't
had the Navy not been caught with their pants down on December 7th, we never would have ended up in a war. So, I mean, you can go there, I suppose.
Oh,
I hate you, Paul. That's a low blow, dude. It's not wrong, but it's a low blow.
I'm sorry. We loved our brothers and sisters in the Navy. We truly did.
Robert says, I haven't commented on Taylor Swift, LOL. I think it's great that the football guy has a sugar mama for when he leaves the NFL. Okay. I love that, Robert. So if you haven't, I apologize. We had a link. Have you guys heard anything about this? Rick says a mortar attack on Heathrow Airport and 10 Downing Street.
Is that from
Are
the
you sure
IRA?
that's not from the IRA conversation?
Oh, that's not something that happened today?
No.
Okay.
No,
All
no,
right.
no, no.
Because I'm like, did Hamas just step things up a little bit?
No.
I believe that was the IRA conversation.
Yeah.
Well, listen, the idea that Hamas is going to have to become a partner in peace, probably as much as it is gross to us, it's probably factual.
Yeah, that's why I said it's an interesting conversation piece because I think there's probably a hint of truth to that because they're not going to. It's just like Al Qaeda, right? Yeah, we killed Bin Laden. We didn't wipe out Al Qaeda. They're not going to wipe out Hamas.
Yeah.
What? Here's.
Although I think we should. I think we need to level every square inch of that of Gaza.
Okay, here's the problem with staying involved in that. I've been pretty outspoken, say, well, we don't belong there. So if we go in and we fight the way we fight now, right? You go in, you find all the military age combatants, and you kill them, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's children left behind, and what do those children grow up knowing? That a U.S. soldier killed my daddy. So what's that little kid going to grow up to be? He's going to grow up to be the next generation of terrorist.
No, do you know why I disagree with that?
Why?
Because there was no terrorists that came out of Germany after World War II. There were no terrorists that came out of Italy after World War II. There were no terrorists that came out of Japan after World War II. Okay. There were no terrorists that came out of Vietnam or Korea. The difference is in war, we just annihilate everybody until we beat them into submission.
We tried that in World War I. What happened? Germany acted up again.
Right, but the population was defeated.
Yes.
They realized they were wrong and they could not rise up and stand up against us. Now, Germany's a little bit of a different story, you're right. But with terrorists, we don't do any of that. We need to handle terrorists and terror states the same way we handled Dresden.
Yeah,
so that they learn that they don't have they won't win. You beat them until they're broke.
We don't fight like that right now.
We should.
I agreed. It's one or the other, but the way we do it now, all it does is create another generation of combatants. So we need to either kill them all, and the American public can't stomach that. And honestly, the idea makes me sick. Or we just leave it alone, because the way we're doing it now, we're just going to perpetuate a cycle of violence. It's just going to keep going.
Well, look, I'm probably the only person on this show. Maybe Paul will agree with me. I don't think you do, Tom. I don't think Lori does. I don't think Dennis cares because there's no weed there. I think we need to saddle up and take out Iran. I think we need to do to Iran what we did to Iraq.
Oh, we didn't do Iraq correctly.
Well, we started off with Iraq correctly. We parked our ships off the coast and we launched ballistic missile after ballistic missile after ballistic missile.
Are you talking about Desert Storm?
Yeah.
And then we
Desert Storm we did not do right.
We didn't go far enough.
Yeah.
No.
That's right.
I'm just saying you start it that way though. You don't send troops in right away. You use your Navy. You use ballistic missiles off of ships and subs. You use your Air Force and you pound the crap out of them.
Agreed.
You set up a no-fly zone and you F them up.
Agreed. But everyone has to be dead. and the American people cannot stomach that.
That is the very nature of war, Tom. Correct?
Yeah,
That's
it-
the
it
nature
is.
of war.
It's ugly,
Kill enough of the enemy. Kill enough of the enemy, and eventually they stop fighting back.
And everybody is hesitant because of the nuclear capabilities.
All right, hold on. We're going to go to break. Hold on, Outlaw Radio. Back after this.
You make having rhythm look so bad.
I don't have rhythm, man.
You do.
I have no rhythm.
You have rhythm. You know where the beat is.
I do.
You don't dance like one of them people that, when I'm in a DJ booth that I question, I'm like, are they even listening to the same damn song I'm playing? Are they dancing to the hi-hat?
To the hi-hat.
And all you hear in your mind is play that funky music, white boy.
See, when I
yeah,
dance,
meanwhile, they're dancing to the B-52s or something.
Yep, exactly.
I have to dance with the white boy overbite. That's all I got.
Have you heard about those clubs that they do? And they do them in pretty big cities now where they all have headphones on.
Headphones, yeah.
Oh,
silent.
yeah, I've
There
seen
is
that.
no noise.
Right.
What?
And you walk, and everybody in the crowd is wearing headphones.
Yep.
So they're hearing what the DJ is playing.
Right.
Or
But
you
if
could
you-
tune it to a different DJ, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No.
if you walk into the room, you hear nothing.
No.
Yeah, it's funky looking.
No. There's no way to interact as a human being.
Well,
No.
yeah, because then you don't have to interact. I mean,
That's
you're
why they do it.
exactly
No,
right.
No, that's awful.
Welcome
The
to-
crazy
Walk up and
part
start
is you can
groping somebody.
lay at home and do that yourself in bed. Just freaking turn on YouTube.
Well, yeah, Paul's
Let's
watching.
be human again.
Paul's watching YouTube when he's at home laying in bed. Okay,
30
whatever.
seconds.
I'm going to ask you guys a question when we get back on AM about a proposition.
Lori had a question.
I should do in Vegas.
Lori's got a heavy hitting question, Kevin.
All right, that's coming up when we get back on AM. Stick around. It's the Outlaw Radio.
She wants to know
Network,
about your
brought to you by
circumcision.
Black Ring Spirits.
.com.
Get drunk and you won't feel a circumcision. We're back after
Whoa,
this.
whoa.
Snippy here, snippy there, snippy everywhere.
This is the Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio. Just found an ad for licorice.com where you can get sugar-free red and black licorice. I
Interesting.
love black licorice.
Have you had Australian black licorice?
No, but it's got too high sugar content.
Oh, Australian black licorice is delicious.
I'm sure it is, but I can't
It's
do
not as
sugar.
sweet. No, it's not as sweet. The sweetness is way down. There's actually like a little bit of a salt edge to
Next
it.
time you see it, just take a picture of the nutritional value chart for me, will you?
Okay. Well, maybe I'll just buy a bag for my own enjoyment and I'll
then
share
bring it
some
in?
with
Okay,
you.
all right, I'll let you do that. I love
Yeah.
black licorice. Paul, do you like black licorice, or are you one of the people that are wrong that think it's gross?
No, I like black licorice.
Okay, some people
Yeah, it's
just
good.
eat it.
I'm one of those
Black
people.
licorice? Yeah, it's disgusting.
That's horrible.
Oh no,
You two don't like black licorice, Dennis?
No.
Correct.
Red licorice is all right, but
Yeah,
not that
red's
black
fine.
stuff.
Black
Yeah.
licorice is like absinthe, and I
Why are you
love absinthe.
Ugh.
Why are you a racist against licorice, Dennis? What's up?
Whoa.
I have to ask, man. I'm hearing Dennis's voice. Where did Phil go?
Phil was very, very tired and not feeling great, so we went ahead and sent him home, and Dennis took over.
Okay, well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, bless Phil's heart. He was here, but he had a long day too, and he's
I'm
been
sure.
recovering from whatever
Yeah.
he had. Yeah, whatever man.
His
he had.
cough. A cough.
All right, so you had a hard hitting question. Paul says.
Yeah, she did.
Sure. So my question in our chat was regarding let me pull that up.
Circumcision.
It's regarding circumcision. So what I was asking is,
It's a
we
good
talk
question,
so
actually.
much about women and my body, my choice and all that stuff. But how do men feel you know, you guys think about the Roman Empire
Mhm.
often, but how do you feel if you've been circumcised? You didn't have that choice. How does that, do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that?
About circumcision?
Kevin, do you want to go first?
Is this a
My
serious
answer
question?
Yeah, it really is.
Yes.
I'm-
This is a question that's honestly been posed quite a bit recently, Kevin. Yes.
Really? Okay. So let me.
It's a cultural.
Do you want me to
thing,
go
really.
first, Kevin?
Yes, please go first, Paul, because I cannot believe we're having this conversation. Go ahead.
So
It's a cultural thing.
here's okay. My family's Lutheran. I was circumcised as an infant. I have no idea what it was. Don't know why they did it. It's never been an issue a day in my life. I know that some doctors promote it just for the sake of cleanliness and personal hygiene.
Mhm.
I've grown up never knowing the difference, so I don't care. I do find it odd that some men care. Right? They're like, Mom and Dad didn't give me a choice. You were 3 months old, dude. You weren't really ripe for the conversation. But your parents thought it was the right thing to do. Your parents didn't do it thinking it was the wrong thing to do. Now, did they? Right? This is like the argument people have. I'm going to sue my parents because they had me. I didn't give them permission
Wait
to.
until 3 months old?
I know.
Yeah.
Wussies?
But-
I came out of the hospital that way.
Well, Dennis, didn't know you were present for that conversation. My bad. I didn't. I mean, I listen. I don't know the procedure for it. You know, I mean, I'm not Jewish, and you know, and I had it done to my sons. So, and there was nothing religious or anything else about it. Simply the conversation with the doctor about hygiene. So that's it. I don't think about it because in any way, shape, or form because it wasn't an option, and I never knew the difference.
Fair enough.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you for your perspective.
Let me give mine, and I have a unique perspective with this because I'm circumcised.
Go ahead. Give Lori the visual.
Oh, no, hold on. Well, now that you asked. No, I'm circumcised. I'm circumcised, and they had to use a chainsaw, but I'm circumcised. And
oh, good Lord.
Hooded for her pleasure.
Yeah. But my sons are not.
Oh,
So
interesting.
their mom and I made a decision
Mhm.
that we weren't going to do that. That we had done some research and it kind of determined that the idea of making them get circumcised was a little antiquated.
Is that what she told you, Kevin? Kevin, is that what your ex-wife told you?
No, that's what we.
Because it's almost like your ex-wife saying, "Yeah, Kevin, I don't really like this about you, so let's not do it to our kids."
Shut up, Paul. So I mean, I do think that circumcision is probably antiquated. I don't think there's a lot of in Western society with cleanliness standards the way they are and all of that. I don't think it's as important now as it was before, when germs and all of that were in sanitation and all that was less. But I don't have an issue with anybody who makes that decision for their kids.
Well, even
I mean, circumcision is not a religious decision anymore.
No,
it
well,
might be to some people.
Might be in certain faiths,
but
yeah.
it's not. It's
Yeah.
not it's not like marriage is. Marriage is, Christians will tell you marriage is biblically based, but there's plenty of non-Christians getting married.
Right.
You know, circumcision may be religiously based, but there's plenty of people that are not religiously based that are having their kids circumcised. So Tom, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, here in America, I think like Gen X, and I'm not sure when it started, but I know, you know, just being Gen X and having been a locker room, you know, it's most of Gen X and I believe the boomers also is just in America. But if you go to Europe with the same generations, not as popular. So it really is just a cultural thing.
Dennis, do you have a thought? I really want to hear your thought.
A thought? Here, you want to know what's going through my head right now?
What's
the
that?
first time I saw my dad pee, I was traumatized. Why does his look so funny?
Oh, because whatever.
Because he's way old school. He wasn't circumcised. I was a military brat, so I came out of the hospital that way.
Okay. All right.
But hey, with your kids, it's really up to the parents. I mean, it is an easier maintenance job, but I mean, if you're aware of it, then okay, then go ahead with your Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, I'm just of the belief that it doesn't really matter. Like I saw this video of this woman that wanted to sue her parents because she was born against her will.
Yeah.
Like, can we stop giving these morons a platform?
Right.
Please.
Can we just stop giving them a platform? Like the schmucks that are like, I ordered a coffee at McDonald's and it spilled and I burnt myself because it was hot. It's coffee.
It's supposed to be hot.
Did you want like an iced latte? Because that's not what you ordered. Can we just stop giving them a platform?
Please. Unfortunately, that platform's just gotten bigger in this day and age of social media. We're just going to get
the courts need to throw them out.
We're going to get dumber.
The courts need to throw them out, though.
Oh, I agree, but that doesn't stop the fact that it doesn't change the fact that we're going to get dumber.
Hold on, are you circumcised, Tom?
No,
you're not.
No,
Dennis, are you circumcised? Yes. You are, but your dad's not.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I did not mean for this conversation to devolve impersonal.
So hold on. So I'm circumcised.
Who cares?
Dennis is circumcised. Paul, are you circumcised?
And I already answered that question. This is too embarrassing. I'm not getting back into it.
Come on. Are you circumcised?
Did you know that almost every single one of Taylor Swift's songs are about choosing the wrong dude?
Are you circumcised? Answer the question.
You're getting kind of personal. Aren't you getting a little bit personal?
I'm curious if your sons match, like, because
Yeah,
I've already
he
admitted
already
that I
said-
didn't. So I'm curious if when you and
I know, you notice Lori paid attention.
He already said
Like,
that. He was
I literally
circumcised.
already answered all of that.
For his sons.
Are your sons circumcised, Paul?
Yes, he stated that as
Did
well.
he? And I missed
Lord.
it. Okay, because
Yeah.
sometimes I don't
Missed it, he says.
Yeah.
Did I mean, yeah, sometimes he doesn't listen.
Sometimes I don't listen to Paul. Okay. So,
It's
but
just-
you're not. Is Isaac? So you followed with Isaac, and Paul, you follow with your kids, and okay. All right. And Dennis,
It's when Kevin said to me, Paul, show me your penis. I want to verify your circumcision. Like, that's when the show went off the rails, man. That was it.
and no, I didn't have a choice when my daughter was born.
Yeah, I was just saying you don't have any sons, so I can't answer
No.
the question. All right. All right. We're a dumb country. We're just
Speak
an
for
idiot.
yourself.
We're just an idiot country.
Why?
Why?
Because we have people making fusses about things that don't really matter to them.
Oh, totally agree with that.
If I
no,
choose
no.
to circumcise my kids,
I'm not making a fuss about
no,
it.
I don't mean you.
No, it was just interesting, because you hear the "my body, my choice" argument all the time, and I was thinking about it from a different perspective. What about guys?
I mean, like the left wing robber barons. They're excessive.
Yes, agree. Totally agree.
I hate them. All right.
Oh, what a night.
Here's my big question. Here's my big question. You ready? Here's my big question.
Mhm.
So we've already established I'm going to Vegas in April.
Correct.
Yep.
Should I go to a club?
Are you taking your new girlfriend?
You mean like a?
She's supposed to go. Yeah.
What type of club?
Like
All right.
a really cool urban,
Like a strip club
No,
or like
no,
a
no,
dance
no.
club?
Dance
No.
club.
Those
Yeah,
things are
dance club.
expensive in Vegas. But I do
And
know.
Kevin would never go to a strip
I
club
do know
unless he
a
was
DJ
doing a live
down there.
radio show from there.
Do you?
Yeah,
Can you get us in?
I doubt that I can get you in. I can maybe get you on the list to get you in line to get in.
Perfect.
Don't they have that big slide? That
A
like
big slide.
yeah, it's like a see-through glass bottom slide that you can slide down
This
on
sounds
one of the
fun.
hotels.
Like at a pool.
No.
This
Like at
sounds
the
fun.
top of the
No,
hotel.
you
and-
slide down from one part of the hotel down to another.
Yeah, down to another part of the hotel, and
but
it's
it's
a
like
glass
outside
bottom.
the hotel. It's at a glass bottom slide.
Yeah,
This sounds fun. Tom must
Oh.
try it.
yeah.
Hold on. Hold
You
on.
can see it.
Oh, this
Wow.
sounds
Like
fun.
you can see the Vegas Strip
One of
while
these
you're
days,
sliding down.
One of these days, I want to have a enough put aside to fund a vacation to go to like Bali or something and swim in one of those clear-sided infinity pools.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, that
yes,
just looks
yes.
so.
On top of the hotel.
Yeah, that looks so beautiful.
By the way,
I
did
look-
you know in the Maldives, if you are not staying in a specific resort,
Mhm.
you have to wear, whoa,
Hold on.
Muslim approved swimming garments, both male and female. I didn't know that.
Huh.
Yeah.
I
So
did not know that.
they have one public beach that's like a bikini beach where you can go and guys can wear just their swimming trunks, but otherwise
Huh.
you have to wear approved
I
swimming
was-
garments unless you're in a resort.
Private resort.
Private
Yeah,
resort.
I was unaware of that.
Yeah.
One of the things, if I get a chance to go back to Japan, one of the things I'm going to be sad about is I can't go in the public bathhouses now
Why?
because I'm tattooed.
Oh.
So it's called Sky
Unless I go to a,
So that's how they keep Yakuza.
unless I go to a Yakuza
Yeah, I was going to say you'd
bathhouse,
have to go to
and
a Yakuza.
this white boy ain't going to a
I was
Yakuza
gonna say,
bathhouse.
I'm going to just tell you don't have enough pigment for that.
There's not one in Vegas. There's a Sky Slide, which is 1,000-foot glass slide, but that's in Los Angeles.
Oh, I thought it was
But
in
I don't
Vegas.
see anything in Las Vegas.
Oh, I thought for sure I saw the advertisement for a hotel being built with that.
I have left DNA all over in Las Vegas, and I've never heard of
For
it.
God's sakes, Kevin. Oh, Jesus.
so many. Just shaking my head. There's just nothing.
I'm thinking maybe we should get Kevin. We all pitch in and get Kevin a portable black light for him to take with him on his next trip to Vegas.
Some of that DNA in Vegas matches the DNA in that studio.
I cleaned.
Like the DNA in the pool hall.
Yeah, but you didn't clean that carpet that's on
Yes,
the wall
I did.
back there.
Yes, I did. I sprayed it with Clorox.
Yeah, Kevin's still there.
Leave that alone.
That's been embedded in here since, for God, 20 years.
1999.
It was a steam cleaner too.
We're going to leave that alone.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yes,
gonna go
we
there at
are.
all.
Oh, yeah, that DNA is as old as Y2K.
We should have a true crime night. We really should.
Have a what?
True crime night.
We'd have to have Andy in studio. if
No,
we were
I
gonna do
know.
a true
I
crime
know.
night.
Yeah, bring a black light.
Oh, bring your black light.
What kind of true crime night you want to have?
This place would light up like a Christmas tree.
Something would light up like a Christmas tree. I don't know if it's
Either Kitsap County Sheriff come in or Port Orchard Police and unsolved case, and we discuss it. You know, hear about the case and then discuss.
Ooh,
try to figure it out. Be kind of
Ooh.
fun.
That'd be
my goodness.
That'd be a fun 3-hour show.
Can I give you? And maybe the listeners will give us some hints of people they'd like us to interview.
Mhm.
I really do want to get like a.
We need to get serious about campaign.
Well, we need to start getting campaign people up in here.
Mhm. Yeah.
We need to reach out to the Republican and Democratic Party, see if we can get their help.
Mhm.
But I would love to get some more like fringe interviews in here. Like I'd love to get a another psychic up in here. I think that'd be an interesting interview. I'd love to get a real ghost hunter, not Paul, but a real ghost hunter up in here.
We had the.
We did have one. We had
Yeah,
Josh.
We had Josh.
We still have to set up our stay over
Our
on the
excursion.
Turner Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Reach out to Josh. I'm ready to do it.
All right.
'Cause
Well,
I don't
right
believe
now,
I don't believe in any of that crap. I think you guys are all dumb.
they're waiting for the
Are
weather
you-
to change right now because the Turner Joy is just still a little bit cold for people to.
Yeah, those metal ships, man, they
Yeah.
don't heat up very well.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this next story,
Oh.
Kevin?
But John Walker said Amanda Knox. John, thank you. I need to reach out to her again.
Yeah,
we had
yeah,
her and I had
that's
been in
right.
contact in December, so I'll reach out to her again.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I remember
catch.
you talking about that.
Should I propose? No, I can't propose. I have a girlfriend now. All right,
Yeah.
go ahead, Paul.
I mean, we're assuming it's a girlfriend. None of us have met her or found out who she is, but that's okay.
Well,
okay,
there's a reason why you
so-
haven't met her. You know why you haven't met her?
Bum, bum, bum.
Because you're afraid of what I would say?
Because she has standards. But go ahead, Paul.
Oh.
Ouch.
Standard what?
Go ahead, Paul.
Okay. All right. You ready for this one? I'm
Yes.
trying not to offend anybody. I figure some people in the studio will love this story, others will not. Trans activists have been protesting in Florida because of their DMV rules for not allowing gender identity lies on driver's licenses.
Yeah, I saw that too.
headline. I didn't read the story.
Yes.
I was going to go back to it, but please.
Wait, say that
So-
again.
Transgender activists across the state of Florida have targeted the Department of Motor Vehicles after Governor DeSantis announced a new policy change to the state's driver's license. This includes removing the option for an individual to choose their own gender. Residents will only be able to list their birth sex on a state driver's license, which reverts back to the state's initial policy. Therefore, trans activists are basically protesting out in front of the DMZ. But what I found most interesting is the main theme of these protests are, and I quote, "The DMV murdered me."
Oh, jeez.
What?
So hold on.
You can't make this up.
Let me ask a question.
Yes.
So it requires their driver's license, their state ID card, to relate back to their gender at birth.
Correct.
Yes.
What if they have had gender reassignment surgery? Does it still require them to list their birth, even if they've formally transitioned through surgery to the opposite gender?
Let's see. I'm
guess-
looking here because I want to answer your question, right? Go ahead, Tom.
I would guess yes, and the I think the argument for that would be the fact that if that person were to transition from male to female, but then they disappear, they're killed, they did what their remains are found, their remains are going to indicate that they were male.
That is correct, Tom. In point of fact, if you if there's a natural disaster, for example, and a bunch of people are killed, and let's say some of them are post-op transsexuals, and archaeologists or forensic pathologists or whoever they are find the remains. Believe it or not, even if you have a sex change and you were a male at birth, they will still find a male's skeleton. I know that comes as a shock to some of you, but it is nonetheless true. And as a paleontologist, I believe Tom can back me up on that. Correct, Tom?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine archaeologists in say 500 years, Tom? Let's say there's a war in America, right? And they're doing battlefield archaeology, and they come across some sets of remains. Could you imagine the level of confusion that would exist if they found a male's skeleton, but two strange-looking bags of saline located in the chest region? Trying to determine what those were for. Did this person carry their own bags in case they needed a quick infusion of blood? Like, what are these bags of saline solution for? Is it in case they needed some sort of surgery while on the battlefield?
Thankfully, our society's advanced enough that we'd be able to look in the archaeological record and go, "Oh, well, they did these."
Would we? What if there was a near global killer asteroid that struck that knocked us back 500 years in technologically, right?
Oh yeah, then it's just weird.
For sure. So interesting
here's
story.
My question, though. Hold on, Paul. Here's my question.
Yes. Okay.
Again, I'm going to use Tom as an example. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So Tom gets the operation.
Whoa.
Okay. Tom goes from Tom to Tammy.
That's my sister's name. That's
Okay.
funny.
Okay.
Tammy too.
Tom goes from Tom to Tammy. Okay. And Tom's got the hair, the makeup, the dress, the everything, right?
The beard.
Looks like one of the most ugliest women we've ever met in our entire lives.
Can I keep my beard?
Was Tom now Tammy?
Can I keep my beard?
No, because you're going for Tammy.
No, but they have them out there that are trans people that have got full beard and wearing
Yeah, they
makeup
do.
and talking about, you better call me a woman. No, I won't. You're gonna come fight me like a man because I'm not calling you a woman.
Okay, Tom gets pulled over by the police, and Tom's birth certificate says, or Tom's driver's license says male, but Tom, after the transition, all that other stuff, looks like a female.
An ugly one.
Doesn't that put the cops in a position that's not necessarily fair or right? Because they're not going to know The ID is not going to work. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm talking about adults, if that's what an adult chooses to do. I understand the push to do it, but now we're going to be asking the cops to be able to tell. Because if I was a cop and I pulled over somebody and their driver's license, they should be a man and they look like a woman, I'm going to assume somebody's lying and trying to steal somebody's identity. I'm taking them to jail.
But you can legally change your name, and you can legally change your name on your ID. So if I were pulled over, in heels with boobs and hair, and my ID says male, but my name is Tammy, I think the cop's going to go 1 + 1 is 2 and carry on with his business.
Maybe.
As long as
if you
as long
die
as the pictures match.
looking like a woman and people go looking for you, you're not going to find women's DNA.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, that conversation, that one's a tough one, I think.
Not only that, but if this is someone who transitioned as an adult from male to female, they're going to be the strength, the bone density, the structure, stature, whatever of a male.
Well,
which is significantly different
the
than a
hips
female.
are different, the jawline's
Right.
different. I mean, there's all
The
kinds.
shoulders,
Adam's
the
apple.
arm
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah.
But there's something that pull it off, though, that really, have done a lot of work and look very feminine.
Right.
And you couldn't tell until,
But I'm sure that a stiff handshake, and I say it that way, would belie male or female because let's face it, you guys are a lot stronger.
Yeah.
You just are. That's the way you're built.
Well, thank you.
Sun's out, guns out. All right, anyway, I don't.
mean, I can put my
listen.
guns out.
I just.
There's not
Paul, I understand why you brought up the question, but I think this is the kind of stuff that screws up politics, right?
This isn't politics.
No, but the Florida thing and wanting to put it on the licenses and stuff, right?
It's not politics.
That
It's
is
not
politics.
politics.
That is politics.
I
Because
disagree.
at that point, who cares what consenting? No, whether or not it's on there is not politics. Whether or not it has to relate to their birth thing, that is purely a political statement made by DeSantis. I mean, DeSantis is scoring political points with his base, where he says, I want to make sure that it says gender at birth, not gender after the surgery. It better be gender at birth. It's doing it for a totally political purpose. And frankly, who cares? If Lori wants to be Larry and have a penis sewn onto her and declare herself to be a man, and she's a consenting adult and that's what she chooses to do, literally, who cares? And why is the legislature wasting time on it?
I agree, but it's not politics. Politics is infrastructure. Politics is balancing the budget. Politics is, tariffs and trade. Politics is not this crap that we've devolved into. Politics is supposed to be boring.
I see where you're coming from.
Yes, of course you do, because I'm right.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I think you might be half right. I think DeSantis is trying to score political points, but I also think that the other part of this is just setting a boundary and saying, you know what? We need to know who you are. What is your identity biologically? Because when the police pull you over and they get your driver's license, and mine says F for female, right?
Mm-hmm.
They need to know. I mean, if you're doing
Is that what
something,
the F stands for? I thought it stood for fellatio, but go ahead.
but they need to know, because if you end up having to go to jail, you don't put a male in with a bunch of females.
But you don't put a post-op male who what used to be a male but is now a female and has female body parts. You wouldn't put them in the male jail. They'd be very popular cellmates because they would have all the female parts.
So you put the cock in the hen house? Because that's where rape happens.
They don't have a peacock anymore. That's why
But what if they do?
What if they do?
I think eventually you're going to have, instead of, for those situations,
Unisex
jails,
jails?
prisons.
They're going to have trans prisons.
You're
They're
going
going to have to have their
you're
own,
gonna
just
have
like they should have their own bathroom.
You're going to have wings. This is where the trans men are. This is the trans men wing. And maybe it's only part of a wing or whatever. And then here's your trans women wing. And
That's
then
too expensive for less than 1%. of the
It's going to be
population.
a lot more expensive. You start having people be sexually assaulted, and they're all suing the state.
But
You let that
also
happen to me.
with it
But
being
it's
on the
already
license that way, if a woman is going to be arrested,
Paul's gone, by the way.
they call in a female officer
Yeah,
to
they do.
pat her down.
Yep.
So if you call in this female officer and she's reaching down, grabbing a handful of man junk that's hiding under a skirt.
Yep.
No, I hear you. Listen.
So there's a lot of
There
bad
is.
juju there.
All I'm saying is, and Tom, you're right. Politics is about the mundane, boring, administrative stuff that happens behind the scenes.
But we don't
DeSantis
focus on any of that anymore, and that's
right.
part of our problem.
But DeSantis is pushing this agenda for political reasons.
Oh, I
right?
agree.
Right.
And I don't think I don't believe any of this is, and I'm surprised more Republicans and conservatives don't agree with me. This is not the stuff the legislature should be worrying about. If a consenting adult says, my name was Lori and now it's Larry, and I want to declare myself to be a man, whether I've had the surgery or not, and I want to pretend like I have man parts, and maybe they're strap-on, and maybe they use batteries. I don't know. I don't care. This is what I want to identify with. I can certainly hear the moral dilemma and the moral arguments and family units and all that. I totally get that. But that's not
it's
where
no one's business.
But that's not where I want the government to be wasting their time.
I agree.
Now, when it comes to our children, that's a really valid argument to have. I'll go to the wall on that and say we should not be allowing our kids to make any kind of medical manipulations of their gender or anything until they're an adult and they're old enough to make the right decision.
I agree with that
But
too.
once you're an adult, if you want to cut off your hoo-ha and replace it with a dilly bar, more power to you.
And vice
You'll-
versa.
You'll have to live with the ramifications of your medical decision, and it's nobody's business.
Right.
He said ram.
But they're already doing this in Washington.
I agree. But
In
they-
Purdy,
yeah.
in Purdy, they have put trans women.
But I don't believe they should be. Is my
No,
point.
I know. I agree.
I just believe it's a waste of time and energy.
It is.
It gives the legislature something to waste their time on, to raise money on, for something that's really not their concern.
My body, my choice.
If you're an adult,
Mm-hmm.
it is your body, your choice.
Yeah,
agree
I
with
know,
that.
but
and the
that's
fetus is the fetus's body and the fetus's choice. But that's a different conversation. for
right.
another
But
day.
what I'm saying is, it's all going back to government coming into your home, government coming into your body parts now.
All right, we're going to wrap the show up on AM.
Good.
For AM, we'll see you Wednesday at 7. Facebook, stay there. We'll wrap with you guys. Just a little bit of bonus content. We'll address some comments in the room, and then we'll wrap this show up and remind you one more time how the Niners suck. We're back after this on Outlaw.
Minutes. You have
Dennis
5
wants us to go 55 minutes on
No,
overtime.
5 minutes.
I don't even know if we'll go that long.
Good.
I think we're all
Let's go.
tired.
Yeah, we
I
are.
think today was a busy day. I
Yep.
do want to go through the chat really quick. Comments in chat. Heather says Ghostbusters are us.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Nelson said the bearded lady. I don't want to hear about your dating life, Kevin. Heather said not a lot of women are trying to be dudes. Well, that's not true.
I think there's more guys trying to be women than there are women trying to be guys.
Maybe, but I see more women. And again, I'm not knocking it. This is just my observation. You do you, boo.
Yeah, I'm not knocking it either,
I
as
see a
long as we're
lot
over
more
18.
women trying to take on male characteristics
Yes.
of short hair and male attire.
Yes,
and,
butch. Looking
yeah,
butch.
yeah. And again, more power to that's what you want to do. But I see in my everyday life,
Mhm.
I see way more of that than I see men trying to be women.
Go to a drag show.
See, now.
No, but again, I don't go to drag shows. I'm just talking about in normal life.
Or go
walking down the street,
Go to
going
a gay
work.
nightclub.
But no, I'm not. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about normal everyday life, walking down the street, going to work, going to the escape room, going to the store. I see more women attempting to take on a male form than I see males trying to take on a female form.
But I wouldn't necessarily think that's always like an expression of,
Yeah.
of
No, I'm
trans.
not saying
I mean,
that
I
it
think
is
a lot of
That-
times.
yeah, that's not
it's like-
trans because that's just
I mean,
lesbians being
I
right.
wouldn't
I mean,
even-
that's gay women like
Well,
advertising. Hey, I'm a gay woman. I mean, a lot of times.
And sometimes it's just economic. I mean, let's face it, guys' shirts are bigger, roomier, cheaper.
Well, the pink tax is real.
Yeah, the pink tax is real.
The
And
pink
so
tax is
if
ridiculous.
you are economically disadvantaged as a woman, or you're trying to, do whatever, you're going to go to the thrift store. And if you're bigger, you're going to go to the men's section. You're going to buy men's clothing. It's
If you
just
walk
easier.
and talk like you can play fast pitch softball really well, and you would never look right in a dress, you have pulled off that look.
But that's okay. Speaking as a person who really can't wear a dress, I mean, that's really unfortunate to hear,
I can wear a dress.
because I can't. Because my
Sure
top
you
part is a totally different size than my bottom part, and so I can't wear a dress. I
But
can
no,
wear-
but I mean,
but
look at fast pitch softball players. A lot of them,
No, I know.
and there's the way they walk and the way they move. It's like, oh no way, are you putting on a mini skirt and going to the dance tonight? You're putting on a
I don't know.
pantsuit.
Jenny
never know.
Finch, man. Jenny Finch. Boy, she was beautiful.
Mhm.
Oh, there are some of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. And especially, I wouldn't want to upset one of them because she could throw a rock at you. And
Oh
hurt
yeah.
ya.
Oh,
Knock you out.
what scares me are those female roller derby players. Holy cow!
Oh, I worked with one at Starbucks corporate.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and see, they look not
But they're
butch.
tough.
Yeah,
They're
they're
way
really
tough.
tough.
Yeah, I watched one go skating down Silverdale Way and
And women that
skid
do
on the pavement.
some of the women that do those pinups calendars and stuff
Mhm.
that are I'm not knocking anybody at all. I'm just making an
Right.
observation. They're thicker.
Mhm.
They've got a little more weight.
Some
to
of 'em.
most of them.
But then, okay, Ty,
And-
your girlfriend does the whole pinup thing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she's very petite.
Yes,
Yeah,
she is.
she's the exception to the rule. But I just mean in general, you
Yeah.
usually see a little
Voluptuous.
voluptuous. Thank
There
you.
you go.
That's an appropriate word
Yes,
for
it
me not
is.
to have to use what I was going to say. Thank you. But as a general, but some of them would strike me that they would kick the crap out of you if they, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
Robert says society should not have to make special considerations for sexual mental health issues, put them in a prison of their birth, sex, and court-ordered mental health treatment. But again, I don't consider it mental health treatment, and I don't necessarily consider it a mental health issue. People decide what they want to do. People make the call. Again, consenting adults. If you're an adult and you want to replace X for Y, tab A for slot B, more power to you. I really don't care. And whatever gender you are and you get arrested, that's where you go. So if you were a man and you've undergone the whole thing and you've gotten rid of your male parts and replaced them with female parts and you're totally like morphed over to a woman with the body parts, you're going to women's prison.
I don't even know.
And I don't want anybody in women's prison to complain about it either, because if you didn't want them in your prison, then you shouldn't have committed the felony to get your ass sent to prison in the first place.
To be totally honest, people who have actually gone through the gender reassignment surgery
Mhm.
usually are not doing that well health wise. They're not out there committing crimes. They're barely surviving
Well,
day
yeah,
to
yeah,
day.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's true.
Those who are doing the dress of the gender they want to be in, but they haven't had the surgery, those are the ones.
Yeah. And some people are going to say things like, well, you're going to put a man, and just because they had the surgery doesn't mean that they like women, that they like men. They could like women. Well, you don't segregate gays and lesbians from those
No.
prisons. Heather says, so I can be a mermaid? Certainly you can.
Mm-hmm.
Knock
I'm
yourself
a
out.
duck that identifies as Bigfoot.
Tom and I were talking during break, and what Tom said is, I really wish that Heather'd become a mermaid. I'd be way more. There's all kinds of marital things we could do if she had a fin.
TMI,
If she had a tail. If she had a
TMI,
tail, there'd be so
TMI.
much more. So Heather, I think you should do it. Rick says, I've read news stories on just about every one of your what ifs from other countries, and none of them were positive outcomes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I don't pretend I have all the answers. I just know I do. Robert says it's a non-problem if you follow the law. Well, again, that's only if you follow the law that Robert agrees with, right? Because there's plenty of laws that are on the books that Robert doesn't agree with, that he would say is not appropriate. Love you, Robert. And Rick said, Tom, that's governance. All right. I think we've gone through all of our questions.
Mm-hmm.
Heather really has a set on being a mermaid. And Heather, if you want to be a mermaid, we give you permission to do that. In fact, we will live stream the surgery where you go in with legs and come out with a tail.
No.
Tom, would you still be married to your wife if she had the surgery and went in with legs and came out with a tail?
I think life would change a little bit. Yeah, I'd give it a shot at least.
Well, you'd have to get a bigger bathtub.
Yeah, I'd probably just move. Live on a houseboat.
Rick said no judgment, just saying that no one has us all figured out. I have it all figured out. I'd like to nominate myself for president of these United States. Non-party, of course, because I can't do anything partisan. Please know that if you know that I work for the federal government, this is a comedy bit and not really intended for anything real. So you don't get me for Hatch Act. But I'd be a great president because they'd be like, what do you think of this bill? Does it increase taxes? Yes. Then no. What do you think of this bill? Well, does it make it harder for small business to operate? Yeah. Well, no. What do you think of this bill? Does it promote one group over another? Yes. Well, no. Yeah, that'd be easy.
Kevin.
And Rick agrees. He says he's
Kevin.
sold with me being president. Yes.
Your gold is showing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Here's where my goal will be off. Kevin, what do you think we should do about Iran? Bomb the crap out of them. Dennis, you can take all of that.
Like I
take
said,
the whole thing. Take it. Take it.
Taking some charcuterie.
I agree.
I'm giving him charcuterie to buy us a few more minutes. Go ahead, Tom.
I agree. We have to do something different with Iran, and it's one extreme or the other. Kill them all, and I mean kill them all, or pack up and come home. Leave them alone.
Well, you got to do something. You have to do something. This Iran thing is going to be an issue until it's no longer an issue.
Yep.
You know, and the only way it's not going to be an issue is if we deal with it. They've already launched drone attacks against our troops. They've killed some of our troops in in Iraq. They need to pay, and they need to pay a very stern price. And I'm sorry if it's raining bombs down on Tehran. I don't care. Guess what? Iran doesn't have a navy. So they're not coming over here.
No, my take on the whole thing isn't so much that I'm worried about being invaded by Iran.
Mm-hmm.
But if we continue with warfare the way we do it now, we don't fight to win a battle. We just fight to be there.
Then I think the U.S. government needs to take out a really big advertisement on like Craigslist, like Tehran.Craigslist.com or Tehran.Backpage.com or whatever they use over there, and just say, we will give you $5 million in American cash if you take out the leadership in Tehran and replace it with a democratic structure, and we'll back your country moving forward. You guys handle your own dirty work. We'll give you some money and we'll help prop up your new government.
That's probably a
and be
smarter
honest
way to do
and
it.
be honest about it. Don't do this CIA bull crap where it's all like, shell game behind the scenes, right? Just be upfront about it. Joe Biden or Donald Trump or whatever leader of the free world is out there just needs to go on national TV and say, hey, if you're in Iran and you want to overthrow the government, we'll give you $5 million if you do it, and we will help set up a new democracy. But you got to follow our idea of what democracy is and have free and fair elections. We'll support it. And Tehran will say, that's an act of war. Then do something about it, Sparky. Feel free to do something about it. But if you do something about it, we're going to come kick your ass and still replace your government and put in a new democratic leadership. So there you go. Knock yourselves out. And we'll leave it as a Muslim-led nation. We'll let Saudi Arabia and Jordan and Qatar and all those other Arab nations in the region. They'll take over setting up the parliamentary style government over there, whatever it's going to look like. And they all get together and they decide what happens in Iran. We'll keep our hands off of it. We'll just get somebody in that's not anti anybody like that. Make the bounty $5 billion, not $5 million. Well, I was hoping we could do it cheap, Robert. Listen, in Iran, $5 million is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Think of how many mud huts you can build for $5 million. You could have the nicest mud hut with a mud pool.
You wouldn't. It wouldn't have to be a mud hut.
And mud balconies. And a mud garage for your mudmobile. All right. Dennis, Executive Order 12323 says we can't. That's right, Rick. Until another president does Executive Order 8675309 that says we can. I mean, an executive order is only effective until the next until the next executive order comes along and replaces it. If I was the president, I would automatically give 3 executive orders the minute I got in there. The first one is it would be to overturn the idea that we can't reinforce positive regime change by assassination in Iran. Just Iran, but that would be my first executive order. My second executive order would be quite simply free bacon for everybody.
Free bacon.
And my third executive order, this would clear up 90% of our border issues. Anybody who gets on an airplane coming in from overseas or from another country must eat a piece of bacon before they get on the plane. And every border stop is going to be greased with bacon grease. Because then we'll never have another Muslim terrorist come into this country ever again. Because they won't eat the bacon and they won't touch the bacon grease. And if they're like, well, we're vegan. We don't have vegans in this country anyway. Stay the hell where you are. Oh, you're only going to live off of salads? Go back to Greece. You can't argue with my logic.
Have you ever had a Greek salad?
I can't argue with the bacon.
No, bacon.
I can't argue with the bacon. Bacon could save our
Made
country.
bacon
Instead of
today.
giving out COVID checks, we'd be sending out 1 pound of bacon to every American family every month.
All right, cool.
I'd even be okay with like a subsidy or some payment going to the pig farming industry to perpetuate the bacon.
We want bacon.
Yeah.
And by the way, no more restrictions on beef production either. Let's just get that figured out.
Yeah. Did you hear that the beef industry in 2024 is going to be about 1 billion pounds short?
Stop bringing up new topics.
Sorry.
You're still eating, Dennis.
Football?
Somebody shared on Facebook, I'm so single that when they ask for an emergency contact, I've just been putting Jesus. That's funny. That's funny. My buddy Curtis put that out. That's hilarious. All right, Dennis, do you have any parting shots?
When we wake up tomorrow, be nice to someone. Cooperate for kids. So that's it.
Do you know why they're not going to need as much beef? Have you seen the cost of beef?
Yeah. Do you know why it's expensive?
Outrageous.
You know why it's expensive?
Hmm.
Supply and demand. The supply's down.
I want to go to India and just steal a cow off the street and bring it home.
Okay.
All right, Lori, parting shots?
This Tuesday, guess what it is?
My girlfriend has been to India several times.
Mhm.
And so I asked her, I said, are cows really wandering the streets? And she's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like really wandering the street. I'm like, really?
Just like chickens in
She's
Hawaii.
like, pigs and monkeys, they all wander the streets down there. And
Africa too.
That's insanity to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be heaven because I'd be like, I feel like a steak. Moo! Come here. Yeah.
No, they're over there starving, but
Yeah,
walking
you
dinner
can't
down
do
the
that
road.
in India.
I would find myself in Indian prison in a heartbeat for killing
Oh,
yeah, you can't do that.
You would be dead.
Yeah, that's
right
trouble.
away.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways,
T-bone
this
steak.
Tuesday, guess what it is?
What is Tuesday?
Special election. Don't forget to
Oh,
vote.
that's
Why
right.
did you just bring that up now? What's on the special election? There's nothing in Kitsap,
I
right?
say, I don't know if there's anything for us on our ballot.
I don't know. I got a voter's pamphlet.
You did? I haven't gotten one. Where
I
did you
haven't
get
gotten
it?
one either.
Well,
I got
I'm in Bremerton, remember?
I got a jury summons.
Oh. I have only gotten one in my whole life.
Really?
It was the week of my wedding. And I was like, please don't make me do this. And I'm on a do not contact list, I'm sure.
Oh, I've had so many jury summons. Ugh.
Wait a minute. What is on the...
Rick Edkert said it's all levies and bonds.
Oh, they're going to ask for more money for schools and then they're going to
Mm-hmm.
spend it the way they want to?
Oh, you know what? You know what's better about this coming Tuesday? Heather just reminded me.
What?
It's Mardi Gras.
Oh, yeah.
Really quickly, Dennis, and we'll get out of here. Here's what's on there, right? Prop 1 for Bremerton is a replacement for educational programs and operations levies. And then there's a big write-up about that. Prop 2 for Bremerton is a general obligation bond for capital purposes of $150 million. And then there's a Bainbridge Island Prop 1 renewal enrichment and operations levy, 85 cents per $1,000 of assessed. They think they'll raise between $11 and $13 million a year. Bainbridge Prop 2 is a renewal technology levy to raise about $4 million a year.
And Bainbridge Prop 3 is to clear cut Bainbridge.
Well, nuke that place. North Kitsap has a general obligation bond for capital purposes to raise $242 million. Central Kitsap has a replacement school support levy for educational enrichment purposes and programs to raise $23 million. And that's what you've got. So it is all school levies and bonds. Notice that South Kitsap is not in there. Why? Because the last time that South Kitsap tried to pass a bond, it got smacked back to Jamaica. And the time before that, 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 and it's not going to happen in South Kitsap. So there you go.
South Kitsap will have overcrowded schools for the rest of humanity.
No, and there's a reason why.
Yeah, be transparent.
Be
be responsible.
They've approved money before that the school district didn't spend on what it was supposed to go to. And if I live in South Kitsap, which I do, and I'm in the South Kitsap School District, which I am, and I'm asked to vote for a levy, which I have been, I'm going to vote no, which I did, because I don't trust the schmucks to spend the money the way that they say that they're going to.
Well, I mean, look at where all the taxes brought in from the marijuana sales are supposed to go. Where did all that go?
And they keep asking for more taxes.
Yes.
Inslee's general fund.
I mean, they keep getting more money, and then they keep asking for more taxes to raise more money. Like they didn't just get more money. And the marijuana, the proceeds from marijuana were way above what they budgeted for. They got way more money off of that. The money they get from the lottery, they're getting way more off of that than they were supposed to budget for.
Yep.
And not a penny of it has went to the schools.
They're getting money hand over fist. But they want more taxes.
Yeah, because they're studying. They're doing a $15 million or $50 million study on how to spend the money.
I don't know. All right, Laura, do you have parting shots? I know you gave one. Were you done?
Just be educated. Educate yourself.
A little late for that. A little late for that, folks. Tom, parting shots?
Don't forget tomorrow night, 5:30, Gabriel Rutledge at Whiskey Gulch. So go on down, take your Valentine for a Monday night date. Make it a long weekend.
Good plan.
Yeah, don't forget Wednesday's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday's Valentine's Day. It might be the first Valentine's Day I've had a girlfriend in a very, very, very long time. Good for you. I say might because she still has 48 hours to dump me. Because, it is Valentine's Day.
All right, Kevin's girlfriend, time is ticking.
Time is ticking. You are on the clock. All right. Okay. Paul, do you have parting shots?
Is Paul there? Oh.
I am Paul Madden. I need tippy for my bunghole. Are you threatening me?
All right. Thank you, Paul.
Like, shut up, Beavis.
Come to
before I
Butthead.
kick your ass again.
Come to Butthead. All right. My parting shots are really the most important thing you can do, and I mean this. The most important thing you can do in the next 24 hours. More important than work. More important than feeding your family. More important than anything that you do. In the next 24 hours, please call and check on your 49ers friends. Please make sure that they're not suicidal. Please intervene. Make them eat. Don't forget the number for mental health. What is the number for
988?
988. Listen, your San Francisco 49er friends are going to need an intervention. So please be there for them. Or you can increase the overall IQ of society by letting them go. All right. We'll see you guys later, everybody. Outlaw Radio Network. I love the 49ers friends. I'm just being funny. We'll see you guys on Sunday at 8 p.m. This is the Outlaw Radio Network, sponsored by Black Ring Spirits, and a presentation of Mega Talk Radio. Good night.